Whoa, I'm here. Hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Whoop, do not need to move that around. Let's put this over here. Okay, that's better. Now I can see. How's it going? I hope everybody's doing well so far today. It is the weekend. So hopefully it's not too bad. Okay, there we go. Yeah, happy weekend, everybody. What is going on? It has been 84 years. Ancom Jane in the YouTube chat and in the website chat on the like patrol, telling y'all. And it's true. Why were there 36 people in here for a second and then it dropped back down to 20? That seems insane. Anyway, of the 20 of you who are here, a few of you might not yet have hit the like button. Consider hitting the like button really quick. It's fast, it's easy, it's free. It immediately helps the show. What's up, Quantum Chaos? 10K Reasons. We've got Fen. Hello, Fen. I have not been exercising, like, weightlifting, Fen, but I am about to start doing it again. I've been doing cardio. I've been, like, easing into exercise by doing cardio on a regular basis. So, yeah. Hello, Drea. Hello, Naomi, of course. Who else? Banana, Dally in the YouTube chat, what's up? Banana, said, "Oh yay, stream. So chat, I may have realized I'm actually trans for the first time ever last night. A lot of things that happened all at once led me to a lot of realizations about myself." Wow, sounds like a crazy Saturday night, but hey, congratulations. I'm proud of you. You figured it out. Awesome. And hello, Cosmic Fantasy, and Unsubscribely, and Nikki Star. Goodness gracious, there's so many wonderful people. You've been doing what I've been slacking on. Balance. True, we're bringing balance to the force, Fen. Yeah, I've just been doing my recumbent bike cardio in the mornings, and like we go bowling basically every Saturday now, my partner and I, uh, which is nice. It's more cardio than you would think, especially because it's only the two of us, and the way that it works at our bowling alley is you can either pay per game or you can pay for an hour, and we've always just paid for the hour, and at first we were getting like 2 games in and then maybe a few more frames before the hour would go off. But now we're like boom, 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 and so we can fit 3 full games and a few more frames into an hour. But so it's a little bit like, yeah, especially if any of you are getting strikes, because usually like you have 2 frames or like 2 balls you can throw in 1 frame. And so, of course, if you whiff it the first time, or if you only get like a couple pins the first time, you have to go a second time. But if my partner and I are like consistently bowling like a few strikes, then yeah, it's like you go sit down and then the other person bowls and they strike and you're like, all right, I gotta get my ass up again. So it ends up being a little bit more cardio than you would think. 2 is the best size for bowling. I usually can only do 2 games before my fingers get tired, though. Yeah, I know bowling is like... It's probably something that most Americans have done, but maybe it's not like a thing that you care about very much, which is great. It's like a very low barrier to entry sport, which I appreciate about it. But some of the things are that, like, if you use the bowling ball that they own at the house, then you're likely gonna be like having to really grip it, because they're designed when you get your own bowling ball to have like a specific size difference between the fingers and the thumb hole, like a specific distance. And then also there's like a tighter fit because they have like silicone inserts inside the holes. So when you're using the ball at the bowling alley, it's like got giant finger holes, you know? And so you have to kind of like grip the ball in a way that hurts your fingies. And I was experiencing that this weekend. I've started wrapping my elbow with an ace bandage. Like I put my elbow at a little bit of an angle like this, and then I wrap it with an ace bandage so that my elbow doesn't. So you can see there's a bit of a natural hyperextending thing that my elbow does. So we try to prevent that from happening while I'm bowling, because I was hurting my elbow every single time we went. Bowling with just 2 people does sound like good cardio. Always going with a group of people, so we sit down a lot. Yeah, and we've gone with friends before as well, and like, yeah, we end up only being able to fit in maybe 2 games, if that. And there's a lot more time sitting down because you're waiting for like 3 people to bowl. Yes, we're fingering the balls. Exactly, banana brains. Exactly. I watched someone get 9 out of 10 strikes using granny throws. It was embarrassing for me who only scored 86. By granny throws, do you mean like between the legs? Ooh, hey, look at that. Subscribe. Hit the bell. Consider joining the Patreon. Wow, I love that graphic. I love when that plays. But so you mean somebody who was like rolling it between their legs, granny style? Because there's also people who bowl with 2 hands, but they still come at it from the side. I know way more about bowling than I ever meant to. This is what happens. Sometimes my partner gets a hyperfixation. Although I guess I the one that even brought up like let's go bowling. Oh yeah, it was for my sibling's birthday a few months ago. I was like, "Hey, let's go bowling. Like let's let's go do something for your birthday. Let's go out in the town and like chill." And so yeah, we started going bowling, and now my partner is like, "I want to go bowling every single weekend." And he's like, "I would go bowling every day if it wouldn't be like a ridiculous amount of money." I'm like, okay. So he's on one of his fixations, and like, so as a tertiary effect of that, I also am learning a lot about bowling right now. Hi, Mr. Baby. I would pick you up, but I'm wearing a brand new sweater. And by brand new sweater, I mean I got it at the thrift store. But isn't it so cute? Like, listen, she's cute. That is one of the new things that I'm trying recently, as per the title of this show, is I'm wearing jewelry, which I basically never wear jewelry. Don't you come at me and tell me, oh, you wear jewelry all the time, you wear earrings. That doesn't count. It's body jewelry. That doesn't count. I never have to take these out or think about them. Well, I do clean my gauges, but I don't have to change these for any reason. Like, I also have a belly button ring, but I never have to change it because this one, for some reason, just like never comes unscrewed at all, which is great. I've had a whole bunch of them, which the ball have just fallen off of them. But yeah, I'm like wearing, jewelry. I'm trying out some new outfits and clothes and stuff. Going to the thrift store. I really had to resist the urge to go to the thrift store again this week. I was like, well, I don't have to go to the same thrift store. Of course, they're not going to have that much new stuff at the same thrift store. I should go to a different one. Then I was like, I do not need to spend another $40. Hail hydrate, everybody. Make sure you're staying hydrated, especially because it's fucking hot out there. I do think that there's like a cool front sweeping in back home, like back in Kansas. I was like watching some weather thing, and I think that they're finally getting like a little bit of a coolness down there. But in Texas, it's fucking hot. In the valley here in Oregon, it's fucking hot. Like, oof. And it's, I think, supposed to cool down toward the end of the week. I'm fingers crossed because I really have been wanting to work in the garden, but I feel like I cannot wake up early enough for it to not be too hot for me to go. But maybe I just need to like, okay, so another thing is that my symptoms have gotten a lot better. That's a little good news from me. My POTS symptoms have been like crazy ever since we moved. I mean, I had COVID in October, and I've talked to you guys about how maybe I was like experience worsening symptoms after COVID, which is normal for people with POTS. After you get sick, especially a viral illness, like, your symptoms will be worse for a little while. So I'm finally starting to feel better. Like, I was really warm. Like, I've had a little bit of alcohol this week, and I haven't been drinking prior to that very much. So, like, being a little bit dehydrated from that. And like yesterday, I woke up as early as I could possibly get to the farmer's market. I was like, I'm going to go as soon as they open, basically, because it's supposed to be 100 fucking degrees today. And I'm trying to get my vegetables before they've been sitting out there in the heat for several hours. So I went to the farmer's market, and then we went bowling. And I was like, oh, I'm starting to get really overheated and everything. There was one point where I was like getting ready to like bowl, you do this, you get ready. And I was looking down at the pins, and my heartbeat was like so intense that my eyelids were like whoop, 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 and I was like, okay, that's great. So, but I didn't get nearly as sick as I might have a couple months ago, so I think I actually feel better, and maybe I could handle going outside even if it's like almost 80 degrees. I have a bunch of stuff now. Like I have a hat that is designed to you get the hat wet and it like helps dissipate the heat off of your head for several hours. I have a special little scarf that does the same thing. So yeah, maybe I am equipped and feeling better enough that I could risk it, but I just get so nervous around, especially if I'm by myself. It's different if I'm going somewhere that's in public. Like if I'm worried I'll get sick at the farmer's market, it's less of a big deal because there's people around. But if I go to the garden, there's no people around. And so if I pass out or fall or something, like I get worried, even though I have never I've never truly fainted from my illness, but it is a possibility. And it really freaks me out. So it's also why I don't lock the door when I use the bathroom. Like I do not ever lock the door when I use the bathroom because I'm just worried about dying. I was procrastinating on my daily Japanese reading time when you started the live. This would be good background sound. Tell me to study, please. Goddamn. I mean, you should study. I've been studying Spanish. Aprendo español ahora. So I think that it's a good idea for you to practice. And especially like if you're trying to learn to speak a language, speak it as much as you can. You know, like I'm using Duolingo, and even when it is not, so a lot of the time Duolingo will have like a request for you to speak into it, like repeat what you just heard, that kind of thing. So it wants you to speak when you're using it, but I just repeat most of the things that pop up on my screen, even if it's like a fill in the word, or if it's fill in the word, I'm like, sí, necesito un bolígrafo, like whatever. Gotta get a garden partner. True. Yeah. What's up, Shakespeare? Naomi says, I've gotten out of bed, walked into the hallway, and fallen face first unconscious before. See, that's why it's gotta be a gradual process. This is part of why I take such a long time getting up in the morning, is because like I wake up and I'm like, okay, now I'm awake. And then there's a process of going into like a seated position, or like going to the bathroom and then coming back to bed. And, then I'll do the little recumbent bike, and like I'll start slow and then I'll increase my speed. Cause yeah, it's like the sudden change of state can be really difficult for people sometimes. Like that's what makes the dysautonomia so shitty. But is if you just kind of go more gradually. I've also had this issue where if I start exercising without appropriately warming up, I used to not understand the point of warming up or cooling down with exercise, because I was like, whatever, my muscles will figure it out. It's not a big deal. But the bigger deal is telling your autonomic nervous system to regulate your blood pressure appropriately for the level of activity that you are doing. It's like, yeah, if you exercise without warming up, there can be certain issues with that. And like, especially if you stop exercising without cooling down, like you might have your body suddenly realizes that you're not exercising anymore. And then so you have like a drop in blood pressure. It's weird. Nothing like standing up only to get hit by massive dizziness. Yep, see? And there's been times too where if I'm like on the floor and I've been symptomatic, I might like get into a crouching position, or like then stand up on my knees and then stand up all the way. It's being disabled, but only a little bit, is real weird. I'm coming up on 200 days of German Duo, and I feel like I have learned almost nothing, but I can tell you that my daughter is very smart, if that counts. Sure. I guess, I don't know actually how long I've been using Duolingo for Spanish, because I don't have a streak. And I also have been learning Spanish on and off since I was a child, because I was just around people who spoke Spanish. So maybe that like level of immersion is part of it. But I feel like maybe it's just like, maybe just now I'm finally starting to get to the vocabulary that is more relevant to day-to-day life. Or like, I don't know, there's also like when you start Spanish or German or whatever, it'll ask you like, what are your reasons for wanting to learn it? And so maybe I told it like, I want to talk to people. Like it's, this is for my community. So maybe it's giving me different vocab that's more useful. I don't know. Dali, this is good advice, says, I have beverages and shelf-stable snacks hidden around the place for if I'm dizzy. I guess not hidden, but it's incredible how much a ginger ale can help. True. I drink like a tomato juice sometimes in the morning, or I'll just like take a handful of salt and like throw it in my mouth and drink. I just said that I was learning for fun. Yeah, it might be that it's like less functional vocabulary then. Right now, I'm learning like how to talk about people's lives. Like, you know, I know family terminology and job terminology and, you know, study terminology, like interacting with people and their day-to-day lives kind of stuff. Hales has, wow, a 1,197-day streak. See, I just can't do that. I really am turned off by the streak function. It really bugs me. I went a more traditional route learning Japanese. I use textbooks, flashcard apps, and then slowly have introduced immersion. At first, it is dictionary hell, though. Fair enough, yeah. Duo is easy. It's gamified. I've used Duo for Spanish and French and Japanese. And I think I tinkered around with Irish for a bit, but Irish is weird. And so I just kind of gave up on that pretty quickly. Shakespeare says, I keep protein drinks stored at floor level in the kitchen in case I go down and ain't getting help for a bit. I fall in the kitchen the most. Oh my gosh. Pretty sure the Duolingo bird robs your house in the middle of the night when you break your streak. Yeah, I really don't know why they don't have an option for you to disable the streak. I started using Finch, which is a self-help app, and I haven't really... a self-care app, really. And I haven't really been using it that much recently, but one of the things that I liked about it was that you could just disable the streak function. And I'm like, okay, cool. I do not need you to guilt me. I also don't like it when games have a thing where it's like, log in every day this month and navigate to this one page and get a prize. And you can only get the ultimate prize if you do every day this month. I just feel like the FOMO is a punishment, if that makes sense. Guys, I can never remember whether Celtic or Gaelic is the right word, so I just say Irish to avoid using the wrong word. You understood what I meant when I said I was trying to learn Irish. I guess I don't even know who, like, if there is any living culture that still tries to keep Celtic alive, if Gaelic is the Irish. I'm considering changing my World of Warcraft language to Spanish, too. Just, like, anytime I need to read anything in WoW. It would be funny, but I also think that it would basically just teach me the specific vocabulary of World of Warcraft. I'm part Irish immigrant and more recently Italian on my dad's side. Ooh. Italian seems like a fun language to learn. Oh, Hales, I see. You've been using streak freezes in the meantime. Okay. The main goal is trying not to go more than 2 days at a time, not speaking and engaging with some Spanish. Yeah, I'm kind of starting to get on this train of, like, it would be better for me to do... So I think part of the problem with me is task initiation and an inability to gauge how long something's going to take. So I think maybe if I just have a chunk of my day where I'm like, this is the time of day where I spend 5 minutes on each one of these things that I care about doing. So if I'm like, I'm gonna just spend like 5 minutes playing my guitar, and then I'm gonna immediately put the guitar down and go spend 5 minutes playing the piano, and then I'm gonna get up and I'm immediately gonna go spend 5 minutes cycling my pistol, and then I'm gonna spend 5 minutes pulling the bow back just a few times for 5 minutes to like strengthen that back muscle and practice my form, and just kind of do that, because I do struggle with practicing things that I do care about. I've started like Duolingo this morning. I did it while I was on the recumbent bike, so I'm like, okay, that's a good way to do two birds, one stone. I'm on my phone, but I'm doing something productive and not just scrolling, and then I'm also exercising. So it's like, yeah, hitting a couple things at the same time. No offense, but that sounds really ADHD. I mean, what I'm trying to do is like embrace things that could be functional for ADHD. I actually think that this would be hell for me, because it requires a lot of very immediate task switching and task initiation, and I'm very bad at that. I hate it. Like, it takes me forever to get started on something. I get distracted and stuff in the way. I do not know why. Which is interesting. I'm like realizing that I have difficulties with task switching or task initiation, but also if I do start something, I think that part of the problem I'm running into with the Mulan script is that I'm bored. I'm like, I've said the majority of what I wanted to say, and now it's about like, how do I wrap this thing up, or like, what's my concluding whatever, and it's taking me forever to finish it. So that's kind of shit when you suck at starting and finishing tasks. But the 5 minute thing, the 5 minute goals thing, is mostly because I truly believe on like a how to learn things level. Like, okay, you could do one thing one time for 30 minutes a week, right? Like, you could be like, I'm going to just sit down and play piano for 30 minutes right now, and I'll do it again the next time I feel like doing it. And if that's like a week from now, so let's say every Wednesday, you're like, all right, I'm just going to like play piano for 30 minutes. I genuinely think that doing it for 5 minutes a day instead of that is better mentally. Like, you play it a little bit and then you sleep, and then you play a little bit and then you sleep. So that's kind of my interest, is like, I've got so many different hobbies and each of them require a certain amount of time. Like, I'm getting better at bowling right now just because we do it once a week, right? I'm like, I'm learning new things and I'm feeling it out with my body and things like that. And I would not be like at that level if I wasn't doing it every week. And there's so many other things that I want to be good at, and I want to do them every week. But it's clearly difficult for some reason. So if instead I was just like, every day I'm going to do a little bit of each one of these things, then probably I would get better at a lot of them pretty quickly. But I'm just fucking trying to figure things out. I also really struggle with maintaining things. Like, I'll decide to start a hobby or a habit, and I will just fucking do it for 30 days, and then I get bored. And I don't get anything from it anymore. Like Finch, I was like doing all this self-care, like a bunch of different things every day, and I'm still, some of that stuff is in my head, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I should go stand outside for 10 minutes and just be outside. So there are things from my time doing the self-care app that I still use, and I think of, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm reminded of this, and so I'm going to do that activity right now, but I'm not like using the app at all. And so yeah, it's just a fucking nightmare being ADHD and trying to like wrangle yourself and work to your preferences, I guess, instead of being like, how can I force myself to do things in a normative way? How can I instead exploit the way that my brain already works in order to accomplish roughly the same outcome? Cosmic Fantasy tried learning Welsh for some reason. That is an interesting choice. The problem with juggling multiple hobbies is if you stop one, you start to lose the skills. Sure, yeah. I mean, I usually find that when I pick up a skill again, it's like not so bad, but it sort of depends on how much time you've already invested in it. Like, I can pick up my guitar and there's a couple songs that I can just kind of play, even if it's been a few months since I picked up my guitar, because I taught myself how to play guitar when I was a teenager. And so it's just stuck in there, you know? I don't have to like reteach myself how to do crochet when I pick it up again because someone taught me how to do it when I was like 11. And so it's just in there forever. Maybe particular stitches and like how to do a complex stitch pattern might not be, I don't really memorize like stitch patterns, but yeah, the basics will always be in there. So if I were to start a new hobby though, like if I were to pick up watercolor again, which I just remembered was a hobby that I was getting into for a while, the problem is that I don't have a good place to do it. And so we have to set up a table and then do watercolor and then break the table down afterward. And sometimes watercolor requires you to let shit completely dry before moving on to the next step, which takes time. So, but I don't know if I would be nearly as good at it even as I was the last time I did it because I did it like 3 or 4 times and then I haven't done it since then. Playing guitar is really hard when I have a big chest and fat fingies. Yeah, that's fair. I have to like, and maybe I should just change something about my guitar or like the strap or something, but usually when I play my guitar, I kind of, okay, so my issue is that my hip is so big. Like, I'm relatively thin, and then my hips are big, so I will sometimes like lift my rib cage a bit as though I'm holding in a deep breath to kind of get the guitar to lay flatter against my body because my hips are just like really wide and I play an acoustic guitar. Lux, teach me your superpower. I forget things so fast it makes it difficult to step away from a hobby. Well, like I said, like some hobbies are just in there forever, but maybe there's a song that I started to play recently and I don't remember how to play that song, but I can play You Are My Sunshine anytime. Like it's just whatever. Or like there's a song I taught myself, like I could probably play Hey There Delilah anytime because I played it when I was like 14. I don't know if that's the case with newer hobbies. Like, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know, maybe I wasn't a bad shot in the first place, but I don't know, like if I were to pick up my pistol again, I feel like my aim is really good, but I also get really freaked out by the sound, and that probably has been reset now. If I tried to go shoot my gun, I probably would be like, oh my god, this is really loud and kind of scary. So maybe I do need to work on some exposure on those things. Exploiting your own brain, have you no morals? No, I don't. Fen says, as an Italian, it's really cool how I can understand most Spanish. Totally. They're very, very related languages. You know what's really funny is I've been watching True Blood, and you all know that. Wow, we've been at a consistent 28 people forever. Y'all are the real ones. Hit the like button if you haven't already, by the way. But I've been watching True Blood, and Alexander Skarsgård is in it for like most of it, and he's Swedish, I want to say, right? Alexander Skarsgård is Swedish. Yeah, he's Swedish. So they have him speak in Swedish. Like basically his character is a vampire who was a Viking. So his name is Eric Northman because he's from the north, right? And so that's his background is that he was a Swedish area Viking, and so the language that he speaks is Swedish whenever they do flashbacks for him or whenever they're showing his maker or anything like that, and he speaks in Swedish a lot. And it's interesting how much Swedish sounds like it's like, oh, I know what that word is. I'm like reading the caption and I'm like, oh, the word sun is just like son. Cool, that's good to know. So it's like weirdly, I guess because Old English and Old Norse weren't all that different to one another, so like Swedish came from Old Norse, right? Anyway, we're doing a language nerd time. German is like that. Yeah. Whenever an American is speaking German, so if someone has an American accent and they're speaking German, I feel like I should be able to understand them. I'm like, surely I can hear, like, I don't know, it sounds like it's just barely on the edge of English. Like I'm having a stroke or something. Water, babes. Drink water forever. What else has been going on? I spent more money than I probably should have at the farmer's market yesterday, but I'm also trying to keep in mind that it's still probably cheaper than the kind of lifestyle where I eat fast food and shit all the time. Like, I spent money on, vegetables and, ooh, I got local beef. That was fun. It was fucking crazy expensive, though. I don't think I'm gonna continue buying beef locally. I, bought a chuck steak that was, $30. It was wild, but we're gonna try it. I'm gonna make a pot roast later this week. On Thursday, I have Transatlantic Call-In Show this week, but then I am going immediately into Calling It Now. So I'm gonna be busy for 5 solid hours. I'm gonna be live on camera for 5 solid hours, which feels like a lot, even though I have definitely streamed 5 hours before. But for it to be on Takis and everything, it just feels like, oh my god, that's forever. And we don't actually have a hard cutoff at 5 p.m. either. So if the show is going well, we might just keep going. I think the other night, Jimmy and Forrest went on for forever. How long was it? I want to know how long they ended up going, or if it was just my computer goofed up and was showing me a live stream that wasn't actually live anymore. Yeah, he was on with fucking... Look at this. Forrest and Jimmy went on Calling It Now the other day for 4 hours. That was wild. Our episode did pretty well. Look at that. 29,000 views. That's pretty good. So yeah, there's no hard cutoff at 5, so I might actually end up streaming for 7 hours if I can maintain it. So I was like, there's no way in hell I'm doing a dinner that I have to actually cook that night. So I'm gonna do a pot roast. I always do my pot roasts. I try to get them in the Instant Pot pressure cooker for... I don't actually use the pressure cooker function when I make a pot roast. I did it one time and it was just not as good. But yeah, I try to get them in the morning, and then it just goes for 7 or 8 hours, and it's delicious. So I got a nice local chuck roast. We'll see. We'll see how delicious it is. I also got some local lamb, and that was pretty good. My partner was like, that could have been any meat, though. It wouldn't have made a difference to me. I hope you get some breaks in there. That is a lot of FaceTime. Basically, what I'm planning to do is, before we do Super Chats on Takis, which is usually about 2.5 hours in, I'm just going to take a 5-minute break. I'm going to be like, look, Josie, you have to vamp for a few minutes before we get to Super Chat, because this is the only break I'm going to get. I've watched before when Erica and Forrest went on for 8 hours. I had to take multiple breaks. Yeah. It seems like it's so much more casual the way that they do things. I feel like Takis is pretty, regimented, and we don't take a lot of time between our callers and stuff to, chat. But I've seen Forrest and Erica just talk for, 15 minutes between callers. And I think that they even had people waiting. I don't know if it was that they were... Maybe it was that they were waiting for a new caller, but that they're willing to just kill 15 minutes talking about nothing until a new person calls in. Dutch is Bizarro German. That's fair. My hair feels like it's so short. I did trim it recently. And then these curls are really lifting the volume up. Ugh. When you go for 8 hours, you can spare 15 minutes to chat. Yeah, I guess so. And I also think that other people on the line are a little bit more, permissive about eating during streams. I basically never eat during streams. I know that some people are really upset by it. I guess, there's always the option to mute. I can always mute myself, but, I don't know. I typically try not to eat during shows. So going on for 8 hours would be hard unless I was taking a break to, just grabbing some chips or something and muting myself periodically. But I don't know. Maybe I should be more open to it. It's also a little bit easier on the line where there's like another host, so you can have someone else talk for a few minutes. So it's a little different than like, of course, after 2 hours on this show, I need to rest my voice because I've been talking the entire time. I say all my thoughts, and anytime I'm responding to something you read, I read it out. Like, so I'm talking the whole time. So of course I get tired, and like my 4 hours is like my limit. That's like sometimes I feel like I could go longer, but even this nowadays after 3 hours, I'm like, I don't have anything to talk about. Genuinely, I guess the part of the difference is that I feel like there's a lot more to say when we are actually covering politics. And because I'm like, I refuse to really talk about politics in any serious way anymore. And before, I was like looking for anti-trans news, and there was more than enough anti-trans news to go around. So it was easy for me to fill at least an hour and a half of a given stream with just that. And I just don't fucking want to do it anymore. So there are times where I'm like, I don't even know if I should stream because I have nothing to talk about. Like, I didn't do anything new since the last time I saw you guys. So I'm like, man, I don't even know. Clearly, I am capable of filling a decent amount of time on air, even if I don't have anything specific to talk about. Vorest Falkai? Yeah. I really like Forrest. I haven't done any shows with him or like ever spoken to him directly, but yeah, he seems really cool. I want to do a Cuz I Wanna with him sometime, but usually Cuz I Wannas have some kind of specific reason for it. I don't know, maybe I can convince Jimmy for next month's LineCon to let us do a Cuz I Wanna as like advertisement for LineCon. I don't know. We're doing so many new things with the line. We're bringing back like the concept of the virtual convention for atheist conventions. We would miss you if you didn't stream. Yeah. My comforting presence, even if I have nothing but bullshit to talk about. If I had even a quarter the energy and optimism of Forrest. Yeah. Yeah, he's fun. I missed the stream when y'all talked about the It's discourse. So we haven't really talked about it. Tuesday night was the night that all of that shit happened. And then Wednesday was a stream night, but I only ended up streaming for an hour and a half, and I don't think I ended up talking about it at all. But we could now, if you guys want to. I felt a bit off having missed so many of your streams recently. Yeah, I guess it becomes like a familiar habit, and I'm like more consistent than a lot of leftist streamers who I have followed in the past. So I feel like, maybe I'm creating an addictive cycle. Skeptoideus, hello. Cause I wanna insert techno music here. True. I just saw the poll. Yeah. A lot of the time I don't really do the poll with the intention of discussing that during the stream. I just am doing something, and I didn't do one today. Maybe I should. I still have time. But I do those polls because they can help direct traffic toward a live stream. We do it with Takis. Like, we put out a poll about an hour before we go live on Takis, and then we do talk about the polls during the show. And the purpose of that is to get people to come in. And like, if people disagree with us, they can call in on the poll or whatever. So I've just basically been copying that and just putting out any silly old poll. But of course, its pronouns were on my mind because of what had gone down on Tuesday. You should do a Cuz I Wanna with Forrest, cause you wanna. Yeah, we just typically, it's usually like there is some purpose to it for a Cuz I Wanna. Like some event just happened, and we're live talking about like something Trump said this week, or there is an event upcoming that we want to advertise for. Like, if next month we have a Secular Student Alliance fundraiser, which we did last year as well, and so we might do a "cause I wanna" the day before so that we can tell people, hey, by the way, don't miss it tomorrow. We're going to do a fundraiser for a Secular Student Alliance. Consider supporting that cause, blah, 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 whatever, to just remind people and drive traffic there the next day. What about It-Its? So, It-Its came up because... No, I'm already doing it. What's a dumb poll that I can put up before we get into the It-Its conversation? What's a dumb poll with like between 2 and 4 answers that I can put up for today? This just is a type of advertisement. Every time I tell people I follow you on YouTube, I say it and people look at me weird. Then I clarify that your pronouns are it-its. Is that ever more difficult? Because people have said that a lot in the comments of the poll from last week or earlier this week. Whatever. People were like, I don't like the idea of using its pronouns because some person might not understand me, or they might think that I'm being dehumanizing toward you in a derogatory way. And I'm like, but doesn't it just take like 2 seconds to explain? Like, I've had this happen before where I'm using its pronouns for someone and someone's like, what? And I'm like, that's the pronouns that this person prefers. And it's usually pretty quick, I feel, but what if I just ask our polls your favorite thing in the whole world? No, I feel like it has to be trans-related. Look at that. The icon popped up for a second there. I am trying to post on Patreon more often, by the way. Like, I know I don't really drive traffic toward Patreon a lot during streams because streams are the time for me to solicit active donations. Which, sure. By the way, there is a new thing in the treasure chest. The treasure chest that's right there. And we can open it if we get to $100 today, and I can show you what's in there. But yes, Patreon, I've been trying to post more stuff there. I've been posting pictures of my cat. More pictures of my cat will be coming next week. I posted a script tease for my Mulan video. Oh, by the way, and I also posted just now a poll on the Patreon and on YouTube memberships, actually, asking what people's opinions are about projects going forward. Because what I have done and what I will continue to need to do from the rest of the time that I am making media review content is I'm going to have a list of long-term projects and a list of short-term projects. Short-term projects are like on a weekly or maybe bi-weekly basis, I need to be uploading a video regardless of what it is. Like, so this time I'm going to watch probably They/Them, that movie from 2022 with Kevin Bacon. I know that it's not like a great movie. The point is just to watch a movie and talk about it in an off-the-cuff fashion. Meanwhile, I'm like working on my like a Mulan script that I need to like finish writing. And technically True Blood is now another long-term project for me because I started watching it just for fun, but then I realized it has interesting things to say politically, so I'm going to now make a video about it. But it's a long-term project because I still need to watch the entirety of season 7 before I can conclusively talk about all the different things that the movie has to say, or that the TV show has to say. So then it will move into short-term projects as soon as that's done, because I'm just going to be like, here are my thoughts off the cuff. Here's some really rough notes, but I'm not sitting here and scripting a video. I get weird pushback from cis friends on it-its. Like, they're uncomfortable saying it-its, so folks shouldn't use those pronouns. Yeah, I think discomfort is the main pushback that I get on it. Or, like, I think, honestly, that a lot of even the rational conversation around it-its is probably still emotionally motivated. Like, probably it is still putting rational language on a feeling of discomfort. Hello, kitty. Tick. I wish people were not so weird about its pronouns. Yeah, true. I have always resonated a little with it as a pronoun because so often when I am dissociated, I tend to view myself as someone piloting a meat robot. I am a she moving around an it. It gets confusing if I think about it too long, though. Oh, yeah, dissociation, for sure. Why would we be striving for cis comfort? That's a good point. Although, like, it is trans people as well who say, I'm not comfortable with this. Although, a lot of the times, trans people at least are coming at it from, like, I was dehumanized with this language in the past kind of way. Or at least, like, I'm concerned about dehumanization in the trans community kind of way. Okay, I made a silly poll. I said, we are talking about its pronouns on stream. Will you be there? Yes. No. Or yet another false binary. Those are the options. If you guys would like to vote in it, you're welcome to. It'll help boost it, I think, in visibility. But so the reason why its pronouns even came up this week is that we have a policy on the line where we usually don't let callers self-identify with its pronouns. I think we are just a little bit more permissive with it on Takis if we feel like we can determine that the person is using them in good faith. So like Hoot was the one who called and was trying to use its pronouns on Calling It Now this week, this past week, and the call screener did not know that Hoot has called in before and that they're a regular. They've been a member of my community. It's been a member of my community. See, I default back to they. It has been a member of my community for years, on and off. Like, it's not always here present, but comes around periodically. And so because of that, Jimmy felt like he had to explain, like, oh, I have your pronouns listed as they, them. Is that okay? Blah, blah, blah. And he gave like an answer that was just like too long. You know, and the autism thing where you have like numerous different reasons why you might have a feeling about something. And I just think that he over-explained himself in a way that muddied the message, which is that we do not allow callers to use its pronouns because we want to try to protect against transphobic abuse in our community. Because we don't know necessarily if someone is using its pronouns in good faith or not. And because that language is still charged, like, I think that it would be similar to how we don't allow people to casually use the T slur in the chat or on calls, even if that term is being reclaimed. Because we don't want to normalize the use of that term in a way where we are now a community that is actively hosting transphobic language and rhetoric. So because it is just difficult to police in that sense of like, how can we determine if someone is using this language in good faith or bad faith? We simply do not allow it for callers. And like I said, we are more permissive on Takis. I don't even know if we're technically supposed to be doing that. Like, I don't even know if we're allowed to technically let people use its pronouns. It's just one of those things where like Arden just runs Takis and we just do things different over there. And Jimmy is never there, so he cannot tell us to do anything different. So we're just kind of doing whatever the fuck we want on Takis in this regard. But on Calling It Now, which is a show that we are specifically doing in the Shorts feed, we're doing it in vertical format, specifically to get into the Shorts feed, which means we are going to be seeking out an audience that's MAGA supporting and that's actively transphobic and potentially racist and like openly having conversations about people's racist transphobic beliefs. Like I was watching an episode a couple days ago where they were talking about like anti-Jewish racism. Like, the caller himself was saying a bunch of anti-Jewish dog whistles, and so we're just openly having a conversation about racism at that point, and actively pushing back on the racism. So yeah, because of the fact that we are deliberately trying to reach that audience, because we are trying to de-radicalize them, like, just being completely open and honest about that, like, we are deliberately trying to de-radicalize. Oh, did I tell people in the chat? Yeah, I did. I said, at Horty's, it's time. Okay. So we just want to be very careful that we're protecting the trans people in our community and our hosts from transphobic abuse, which is why we don't let people call in with its pronouns, except on Takis, where we know that they're doing it in good faith. So there was confusion about that. People were upset in the chat because they thought that it meant, like, I'm not allowed to use it, they pronouns or its pronouns. Like, it's okay. Everything's okay. We have a good reason for our policy. I just think it was poorly explained. And the policy is not going to change. So that's what was going on. But it has now allowed us to have a broader conversation about its pronouns and why people would want to use them. Hello, Shady Bite. And Uncomfy. Shady Bite says, hey, just checked and I had to turn on notifications because I am subscribed, but I didn't get the notification that you are live. How's it going? We're doing pretty okay today. Yeah, I always, like, check your notification settings because subscribing doesn't necessarily turn on notifications. I think even when you click the bell, the default setting is, like, customized notifications or personalized. So YouTube still gets to decide what you see or not. But if you click all notifications, you'll get notifications for all of my uploads. Unless, sometimes for YouTube Shorts, I will not send those to the subscriptions feed. But otherwise, you get notifs. Yeah, Takis, a lot of non-spicy callers call in as well. Yeah. It is interesting. I'm like, why do we not get more controversial callers? It's like almost to get the good transphobia, I have to, like, be on one of our non-trans specific shows. It's so interesting. Jimmy has said that Takis is run by trans people, Chewed Gum is run by women, and it's not his place to say you can't do that, but calling it now is unfocused in that way so he can overrule there. Yeah, totally. That's pretty much how I feel about it. Like, and I understand his reasons well enough, and I also think that I am better able to communicate the reasons than he is. Like, I love him, you know, no shade on Jimmy or anything. I just, again, I think he over-explained himself in a way that muddied the waters and kind of bothered people. So yeah, actually, I am curious, what did people vote on? Oh my gosh, this is funny. I've only gotten 3 votes on the members only post on YouTube, so I have exactly 1 vote for they/them, I have 1 vote for White Chicks, and I have 1 vote for Game of Thrones is autistic. And there's also this movie called Zerophilia that someone just recommended to me, which is a movie with Hayden Christensen in it, where he is taught the skill of being able to change sex when sexually aroused. I do not know anything else about that movie, but it's on my list now. And it's going to be one that I just respond to, like, briefly. Hi, Mixterius says, watched the line video with you and Arden talking to Ryan. He seemed like a decent caller, but I was so off-put by his beginning statement that I thought he was a troll. Which one was that? Talking to Ryan? Was that the one that I just uploaded on my... I have a separate channel now where I am uploading my clips from the line. And... or maybe not all of them, but a good number of them. And I did just get... no, that's Brad, the one that I posted. The channel is called Luxander Line Clips. And you can get to it from my channel. It's on the homepage where I have my channels listed here, side projects. And also on the posts tab where it's right here. Which I would appreciate subscribers, because I don't have that channel monetized, obviously. I'm just like gonna upload shit there until it gets monetized. But still, I think it takes 1,000 subscriptions and a certain number of watch hours, so any help there is appreciated. Ryan called Neo pronouns fake and gay, not on the call, but as his call-in statement for the screener. They always seem more bold for the screener, don't they? It's like a lack of respect for our screeners sometimes that's crazy. Oh, if it's a video that just got uploaded, then it's from months ago, Mixterious. So there's no wonder I don't remember the phone call. Let's see. Was this a recently uploaded video? Our most recent one where I'm on it says... Caller says trans medicine isn't science. Gets schooled by hosts. I love Arden and her title and thumbnail. Title and thumbnail game is strong. Uploaded today. Oh, that's probably on the Line Edge then. The Line Edge? Your screeners are superheroes to put up with even a few of the things that have come through. Yeah, Jimmy offered to bring me in as a call screener for other shows, because it would be more income. And I was like, no, thank you. That sounds bad. But my friend Alora has emailed you about potentially becoming a call screener. Okay, yeah, Recovering Transphobe calls in to discuss niche pronouns was uploaded today on The Line Edge. I don't really understand the decision-making process here, but we have The Line, which is at Q&A Line, and then we have The Line Edge, which is at Call the Line, where we post other content. Like, same live streams, different video topics. Do not understand the logic yet. And meanwhile, I'm like, oh my god, I'm still very much in an ongoing... I do not know what to do with, like, whether I should have multiple channels. So I've basically decided now that Musing Moss, the channel that I have right now, is not going to be for video essay content like I originally thought. I'm just starting to do movie review and video essay content on this channel. So it's like, Musing Moss, do I even need to have that IP anymore? Am I ever going to do anything with Musing Moss? Am I going to change the name of this channel to, like, Luxander's Musing Moss? And I have, like, Luxander Line Clips as my other channel. And I still have one Oasis left where I was intending to put, like, garden and homestead stuff. But now that I live in the Willamette Valley, I don't even know that I need to do any self-sufficiency stuff. I don't really know that I need to do any of that because I have the ability to locally get most things that I would need as far as food goes. Like, I'm learning that. Dude, okay, I have to say this too. Going to the farmer's market. So I didn't make this connection until this weekend because the vibes are a little bit different. But okay, so at a farmer's market, you have usually like a big parking lot that is just reserved for that space on Saturday. And I'll get to your question in a second, Daniel. Thank you very much for joining us. But the farmer's market, you basically have all these little like tents or like the gazebo tent things with like the 4 posts and it just has something covering the top and like maybe the sides and back. So it's just a bunch of these little gazebo things and maybe some food trucks, stuff like that. So you might forget for a second that this is the modern version of a medieval market. Like, you know in the Beauty and the Beast cartoon version at the beginning, hold on. I'm trying to find a picture for you that will... I want you to really, like, think about this for a second. Okay, so Belle lives in this town where there's all these different people. and you have to go up and be like, hey, so what do you have for this today? Like, it's not like a store where you can go in and there's prices listed. Sometimes there are. Like, I mean, well, even if there's prices listed at the farmer's market, you might still have to be like, well, what do you have for this today? Like when I bought that chuck roast, which I told you earlier that I bought that chuck roast, I was like, hey, what do you have for chuck roast today? Because I wanted one that was a smaller one because I don't have a very big pot roast container. Like, okay, and it's just the three of us. We don't need like a giant piece of meat. It's more expensive the bigger it is, blah, blah, blah. So it did not strike me until just then, basically, that this is like, this is the fantasy that we have of like, I want to live in a mutually supportive community. Like, in order for me to survive long term, I have been thinking, oh, I need to have a farm. I need to have my own animals. I have to be able to grow my own food. As things stop being available, I need to be able to make them. Like, I need to have bees because I need wax for something. Or I need to live close enough to the ocean so that I can get salt if I ever need salt. But I don't actually know if I need to do anything more than just invest in local farms that already exist in order to survive. Always haggle. That seems so rude to me. I would never haggle someone's personal product. That seems crazy. I would haggle like at a flea market where you're reselling someone else's stuff, but like I would never haggle like, oh, that piece of meat that I want from you is too expensive. Do you mind doing it for $5 less? Like, that's crazy. Yeah. So, but I really like it. I really like having that opportunity. And here there is at least one market that is like indoors and therefore it can run during the winter, I think. Or there's probably more than one, but there's one that I know of. So I may still have access to some fresh foods over the winter if there are any like people growing in a greenhouse or anything like that. Because we do have a growing season that's year round here. Case in point, as soon as I feel like I can get out to the fucking garden because it's 100 degrees, so as soon as it cools down later this week, I'm probably going to go buy some seeds and like seed some stuff. What can we seed in August? We can seed kale, arugula, beets, cabbage. I guess I'm a little late on cabbage. Spinach, like turnips. There's all kinds of shit that you can seed outdoors in August here. And then I don't really know when this PDF is for planting, so I don't know when they would be ready to harvest, but yeah, they're like you can have a winter growing season. Okay, there's a trans related question in the chat. Thank you for hopping over to the website, chat. I appreciate you. Linguistic question. Are trans men and women non-binary, or do they exist within the gender binary, i.e. trans men are men, trans women are women, etc.? Well, I mean, it's like those things are a matter of identity. So like trans women identify as women. Some of them identify maybe as like a non-binary trans woman or something like that. But typically speaking, if we're talking about someone who's like, I am a woman, call me a woman, that is what I am transitioning to become that, I am dressing that way, I'm blah, 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 like this is my understanding of myself, this is the social role I want to exist in, I think it would be really, really rude to assert on them that they are actually non-binary. Like, this is something that is done to trans women on a regular basis, actually. Actually, I've had it happen to a trans man that I knew as well, that in order to not call them by the pronouns that they prefer, people will call them they. So, like, it's a trans woman, she says, my name is Lily and my pronouns are she, her, and someone in the workplace will be like, that person will help you over there. They will help you over there. And that is a type of misgendering or degendering that is harmful to binary trans people. But there are some people who are like, I'm telling everyone I'm a trans woman because that's the easiest way for me to live in the world. But then to their close friends and partners, they're like, actually, I want to play with gender a little bit. I feel like I'm actually non-binary, but it's just easier in society for me to call myself a woman because people are more accepting of that or whatever. So there are some people who are non-binary and may also call themselves with binary language. But for the overwhelming majority, I think, if someone says I'm a trans man, then that means that they're a man. Or I'm a trans woman, that means that they're a woman. Ooh, Cynthia. Oh, has fig trees, plums, persimmons, blueberries, goomy berries. I don't even know what that is. Currants and an annual garden. Hit me up. I'm in Portland. Ooh, I have never had fresh figs before. That sounds exciting. Anything that doesn't finish ready to pick before mid-September here risks being destroyed by frost. Sure. I've had people do this to me before where they'll say they instead of she, and I might even go by she, they if it weren't for the trauma that I have from that. Yeah, for sure. I tend to call someone they if I don't know what pronouns they prefer, as I would rather do that than get it wrong completely. Sure, yeah, but yeah, there's a difference, I think, between... there's a difference between doing it as a matter of course for everybody versus knowing that someone is trans and specifically refusing to use their binary pronouns. Which is what I was trying to describe. So it's interesting. I have this open. So seeding outdoors, I guess it's like, okay, that stuff only has like a month to grow. But there's also seed outdoors in September. Arugula, Asian greens, garlic. Well, I guess the garlic you seed stuff like garlic and onions with the intention of them growing over the winter, right? And then in October, you can seed fava beans, garlic, onion, shallots. You can also plant starts in October, like bok choy, overwintering cabbage, lettuce, and salad greens. And this is from a garden in Portland. Like, this is from the Portland nursery that I'm reading. A lot of things you plant so that they will start growing early in the spring. Okay. Yeah, I've still got more to learn, but it's just good to know that I'm not completely at a loss. Like, maybe starting from seed now would not be really worth it, but maybe starting some bulbs or something next month could be good. I don't know. It's fun to learn, which is all I'm doing right now. The next step for my garden plot is I'm going to finish making sure all the weeds are gone, and then I'm probably going to mulch over the entire plot. I'm going to mark the edges with some sticks, I think, and mulch the whole plot, and then water it really good, and probably, like, continue watering it really good for a little bit. Hello! Alex Amethyst had some problems with authentication. Yeah, it's been a little bit funny with authenticating through, like, Reddit and stuff. But welcome back. Good to have you. Good to have you. Let's see. What else have I got going on that I could share? Or is there any news that matters enough for us to talk about? Ooh, wait. When do I need to watch Rogue One? Okay, I don't actually have to watch Rogue One until next week. We're recording our podcast episode about Rogue One on Labor Day. And then I don't know what we're doing after that on the podcast. I think we're going to do some horror movies on the podcast after that. I do not know what we haven't decided what's happening at that point. Oh yeah, I was gonna check the Patreon poll and see if Patreon is gonna help me decide what movie to watch next. What's the name of the podcast? So if you go to Gayfesh YouTube channel, the name of the podcast is The Many Worlds Hypothesis. It's just on Gayfesh's YouTube channel. If we go !Gayfesh in the YouTube chat, there's a link there, youtube.com/@Gayfesh. And yep, we've talked about, we did the Captain America Marvel movies, we did Andor season 1, and then we did Star Trek the original series movies, and then we did season 2 of Andor, which is leading us into Rogue One, and then next we are doing horror movies for like October. Rogue One was/is such a good movie, closest they ever got to catching the original feel of Star Wars, IMO. So recently, I finished watching season 2 of Andor, and then I immediately turned on Rogue One, and you should not do that if you want to enjoy Rogue One. Sorry, it doesn't work on YouTube. There we go. You should not watch Rogue One immediately after watching Andor. I'm giving myself a break. Like, part of the reason why I'm waiting to watch Rogue One is because I want to try to enjoy it. Because if you finish watching Andor and then you go watch Rogue One, it's the most boring fucking movie you've ever seen in your life. Like, earnestly, it's so fucking boring. So I'm gonna give it a new try. I'm gonna completely give it a whole new try. But it's so boring. Did not enjoy it the most recent time I attempted to watch it. But I'm gonna give it a college try. You know, we actually the third arc of episodes on our podcast, I was like, I hated these episodes, and we ended up having to re-record the whole episode. So I was like, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go watch those episodes again and try to like them more this time, so that I don't have such a negative attitude in the podcast. And I did manage to find more things that I liked about them. The things that I hated about them, I still very much hated about them, but I was able to find some more redeeming qualities. I still haven't finished season 2 of Andor. I would say it's worth it if you get around to it. I like the ending. Well, I don't like the ending, but I like the last arc for sure is good. If you want some artful horror, try La Casa Lobos. You know, I don't actually like horror movies, but there are a lot of horror movies on my list. Like, especially because, so on my, oh God, where is it? Is it even open right now? No, it's not open right now. That's my script. Where's my Google Doc with, so one of the things I did this past week was, you all have recommended a lot of movies to me. And so I had this big long list of it was just movie titles, just chunky list of movie titles. And what I have decided to do is I went through, and I really need to like actually create even more separation in this document. But I was like, okay, let me, first of all, anything that's trans related or cross-dressing or something like that, let's go ahead and put those all together. And then there's a bunch of other movies that you've recommended. And then I've got my dragon movies list, which is separate because that was like a, do I want to fuck these dragons? So that was a separate question. Which, do you guys want me to pick up my Smasher Pass? Should I still do Smasher Pass, but just do it off the cuff instead of scripted? Because that was my other problem, was trying to script the video about the Dragonheart dragon and whether I would Smasher Pass him. Anyway, but so this week I went through and I added synopsis to every movie in here. Well, every movie that I felt needed a synopsis. Like, I know what The Matrix is about, so I'm not going to post a synopsis in here. It would just be a waste of my time. But I went through and I added synopses. You can see, like, this is the beginning of my trans movies document. You know, just putting what year the movie came out, getting the titles right and all this. So a lot of trans-related movies are horror movies. Of course, you know, the cross-dressing movies are often more of a comedy, like She's the Man was more of a comedy. But a lot of trans stories or even trans allegories are told through the medium of horror, and so that means that I'm going to end up watching a lot more horror movies than I want to. Mersh, Welcome in. Good to see you. Even though I'm openly queer and everyone knows I'm non-binary, I've always kept my legal paperwork as she, her, and female. My new employer actually told me you can list non-binary on your paperwork if you wish. That's different. Hey, well, I'm glad that you got a job because I know that you were a little bit unsure for a while and you were having to take some tests and stuff and learn new things. So that's awesome. It's tough being openly trans or openly non-binary, openly intersex. That's really good news. I've never been married and have no spouse or children. I was planning on having an organization as a beneficiary on my paperwork. My new employer actually encouraged me to use a girlfriend as a beneficiary instead. Nice new job. Wow. So you can place someone you're not married to as a beneficiary. That's cool. We love our spooky body horror and dysmorphia analogies. I'm not allowed to watch horror movies. I always root for the antagonist. Well, I'm not talking about a slasher movie. Are you telling me you're going to watch They / Them, which is a group of teenagers at an LGBTQ plus conversion camp endures unsettling psychological techniques while being stalked by a mysterious masked killer? You're going to vote for the killer? In that situation, you're going to root for the killer and not the LGBTQ teenagers? Drea, you're transphobic. So probably They / Them, depending on how did this vote go. Yeah, on Patreon, the vote was for They / Them. So we'll probably watch that one first and do a review of it and just kind of spit it out this week. That's the plan. I don't know how to horror movie. Yeah. Got a high score on the test. Nice! That's exciting. Hell yeah. Glad things are going well. Glad you got a girlfriend, you got a new job, like things are just going well. Oh my goodness. They / Them was amusing. Definitely had a worse identity crisis than I ever had. No idea what the movie wanted to be other than gay. All right. That's a good setup. The movie has no idea what it wants to be. All right, cool. I'll take that. I have zero tolerance for blatant stupidity, which is what ends up being used in so many horror movies. Sure, like, I guess it's easy to root against a protagonist who is, like, doing stupid things on purpose. I was watching True Blood yesterday, and two characters started having sex, which happens all the time in True Blood, but this one particular situation, I was like, this feels like a horror movie. Like, it feels like they're gonna start fucking and then somebody is gonna come pop out at them. It didn't happen, but I definitely got that sensation. Nothing will prepare you for the song choice that all the young queer kids bond over in They / Them. Okay, commentary about the movie is now no longer wanted from anybody who has already seen the movie because y'all are going to spoil something that you don't think is a spoiler, but that I will care about. I'm going to vote. My guess right now is that it's going to be I Kissed a Girl by Katy Perry. That's my guess. Do not tell me. But yeah, I'll watch that either tonight or tomorrow and then just like try to vomit out a video about it before the end of the week. And I'll continue chipping away at my Mulan script, and I'll continue fucking watching True Blood episodes, and then I'll try to vomit out that video next week, I think. True Blood video next week. They / Them had Friday the 13th vibes, only with the LGBTQ spin. Yeah. Yeah, They / Them is a movie that is about it's like a camp horror movie in that same way of the Jason movies. The dilemma is that I don't like horror, and most trans-related comedy I've seen is transphobic cringe. True. I wish there were more trans-related drama that was representational. Totally. Yeah. There is a little bit of a dearth of good trans drama. Beauty and the Beast. Honestly, maybe I should have put my Luxander on the line clips on one of my two pre-existing channels, like maybe on One Oasis Left. But I just can't decide if I want to ever do anything with One Oasis Left again. It's such a cool name and such a cool idea. Have you watched Nimona yet, Lux? No, guys, I don't have Netflix, so... At some point, y'all are... Like, there's all these Netflix movies, and I don't want to pay Netflix anymore. I already pay for the HBO, Disney Plus, Hulu thing, and my partner has Crunchyroll. And it's like, I just... At some point, I'm gonna have to get a month of Netflix and just, like, watch all these Netflix movies that y'all want me to watch so that I can turn it off again. Star Fox recommends, for quality trans horror, that we should check out Alice Meow Mackie. Okay. Are you close to being done with the Mulan script? Yeah, I am really close to being done, which is part of why it's so frustrating that I'm having such a difficult time finishing it. It's like, I'm done with part 1, I'm done with part 2, and part 3 is like mostly done, and I just am not interested in working on it at all. It's so weird. Isn't Disney Plus part of the BDS boycott? What does BDS stand for? Which boycott? Mersh says They Slash Them is about a conversion therapy movie about when the camp experience goes violently wrong. Cool. I also just remembered, like, yesterday that I was balls deep on a script about BoJack Horseman, like, 2 years ago, and I haven't worked on it at all. Like, I have some long-term projects that I get, like, most of the way through a long-term project, and then I'm like, I'm not interested in this anymore. I don't know what's wrong with me. Boycott, divest, sanction. It's against Israel. Yeah, okay. I am not specifically boycotting anything because of Israel right now. I also think that you would have to boycott literally fucking everything. I'm doing my best. The only bad thing about my job is I found out that people were taking bets as to whether I would pass the test for the job. Ooh, that's not nice. I would be upset to learn that. I need to use up the buttermilk and make pizza dough. You could also do a buttermilk dredge for fried chicken. I think I'm scheduled to make fried chicken this week. Did I do that? Yeah, I bought collards at the farmer's market, so I think I am. Yeah, on Tuesday I'm making fried chicken. That's gonna be fun. A BoJack Horseman video essay would have been cool, but I feel like it's been done a lot more recently. Yeah, it was, the BoJack script is about, like, him fitting the diagnostic criteria for borderline personality disorder. Because I have borderline, and I was like, oh, look at, he has, like, 7 out of 9, or even maybe 8 out of 9 of the symptoms, and you only have to have 5 to get diagnosed, so... It was like diagnosing BoJack with borderline personality disorder. Yeah, I'm sorry, Dizzy. I don't know what the deal has been. It's been ongoing with Reddit authentication not wanting to work on the website. Reddit didn't want to let me log in, and then I went on Reddit and got distracted by lesbian drama. Lesbian drama is very easy to get, I don't know. I don't know that I've actually gotten caught up in lesbian drama before. I've been thinking about watching BoJack Horseman by myself. Gulp, wish me luck. just don't stop after season 3. The ending of season 3 is gonna hurt your feelings, and just don't stop watching the show at that point. That's all that there was when I watched BoJack. That's all. Like, the first time I went through to watch it, season 3 was all that had been made at that time. So yeah, it hurt my feelings a lot, and it took me a long time to come back and watch it through again. And then of course you get to the end of season 6 and you're like, okay, well, they did their best with this. Israel is committing a genocide, though. I want to be completely clear that that is not news to me in any way, shape, or form. I'm aware. The whole point of BDS is to select some points of pressure instead of doing everything. Yeah, I mean, like, there's some things, like, I don't go to Starbucks. I'm not saying that there's, like, no choices that I'm making, but that there are so many institutions that support Israel, and that, like, especially because I watch movies for my job. Like, I watch movies for my job for the podcast. Like, that's a side project, but I am still considering that like a professional thing. And I watch movies for my channel and my TV. Like, I have Mulan that I'm in the middle of doing a video for. So, like, I don't know if it's realistic for me to get rid of Disney Plus. I am also probably not going to cancel my HBO subscription when the Harry Potter thing drops. Like, I just don't think that there's a realistic way for me to function and do my job otherwise. My ADHD is wholly unmedicated because my ticker can't take the good ADHD meds, so I just flail around through life. I haven't taken any ADHD meds since I moved, and I don't know, like, sometimes I think maybe this would help me, but then I just don't want to. Like, I'm over it. I don't want to. It's, definitely I struggle in some areas, but I would rather, like, figure out a way to work with my brain rather than, like, putting really serious drugs in my body on a daily basis. Yeah, Dizzy and I have had some conversations about, like, how to handle what's going on in Gaza, like, emotionally, from the standpoint of, like, being Americans who are basically not able to do much. Yeah, lamenting how unseeable the sheer horror is when we can't do anything. Yeah, I don't even pay attention that much to what's going on with the Israel situation, and frankly, I don't want to make it seem like I'm being selective about that. I'm not paying attention to what's going on about the fascism in my own country right now that much either. Stuff slips through, and I learn about things, but like, the other hosts on the line want to talk about political issues, and I'm like, I don't fucking know what you're talking about because I'm checked out of that right now. Dizzy says, my HRT is manufactured in Israel, and I can't do shit about that. We live in a society. Do what you can, but I'm not flip-flopping my hormones because I only have Israeli TRT. Yeah. Okay, so let me see. What is on this boycott? Consumer boycott priority targets. So, some priority targets, like Chevron. Okay, yeah. Reebok, SodaStream, Disney Plus, Texaco, HP. Like, Intel and HP are just like, oh, okay, do you, like, you're just not gonna be able, like, Intel, Dell, HP, to be on this boycott is like, oh, I just can't upgrade anything in my computer for the foreseeable future and potentially ever again. Yeah. Pretty easy for me to boycott some of these. Like, there's better fast food than McDonald's and Burger King. Carl's Jr. Man, Carl's Jr. is pretty good. Pizza Hut, yeah. Easy to... Pressure targets. The BDS movement actively calls for pressure campaigns against these targets. This includes boycotts when reasonable alternatives exist, as well as lobbying, peaceful disruption, social media pressure, blah, 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 for Google, Amazon, Expedia, Booking.com, Tiva, and Airbnb. It's crazy how many ads I get for Booking.com as a person who does not travel. Glad to see AMD is not on that list. Yeah, no shit. I am on AMD, I guess. I have a Radeon, I have Radeon, AMD, Ryzen, that kind of stuff. I guess most of my PC mostly doesn't use Intel HP parts. Dizzy says, welcome to trans cripplehood. We are not fucking okay. We are also just trying to survive, and the pressure to do activism that didn't prevent the genocide in the first place to one's own detriment is like fucked up. Yell at your Congress people. Yeah, and I'm sure nobody in here is trying to be a dick about it or anything. But it is like, yeah, it does feel like a disproportionate amount of like expectation on an individual to like be informed and aware. Oh, cool. Skeptoidia says AMD actually does support the Israeli army. So even though they're not on this list of who we should boycott, AMD also. But yeah, sometimes it just feels like there's a disproportionate amount of expectation, not on disabled people. I don't want to say that. Well, sometimes, I don't know. Like, it does seem like people expect us to make sacrifices that they don't expect other people to make, but that's not what I'm trying to say in this situation. I just generally think that there is a disproportionate expectation on the individual, period, to try to use our dollar to make change. But so I didn't buy from Walmart for more than 10 years. You know, like I maybe very occasionally I would buy something from Walmart, but there was Kroger and there were other options, so I would shop elsewhere. And the only thing I accomplished was fucking myself out of thousands of dollars paying Kroger prices when I could have been going to Walmart. Like that's the only thing I accomplished, was me having less wealth to save and buy a house with. So I feel really jaded about boycotts. But even then, listen, I am buying a lot of shit from the farmer's market, even though it's more expensive than Walmart. If I can buy it at the farmer's market, I'm trying to buy it there. So I'm investing in my local community. It's not like I'm doing nothing, but it is like I'm not trying that hard to be an activist with my dollar. Obviously, you should do BDS where and when you can, but y'all aren't going to purely wallet vote your way to liberation when Congress is voting bipartisanly to send them bombs. Like, there's just... Yeah, I literally don't see anything we personally do making any difference to anything at this stage on a broader scale. I think we can make local change. I think we can change people's hearts and minds on a local level and like a personal level. But I think we are on a train that is headed toward like societal collapse, and there is nothing we can do to prevent that. So I'm just like along for the ride is kind of how I feel. And I don't mean that in like a doomer way. I'm like, I will figure out a way to survive. I specifically moved somewhere where I will be able to survive. So I'm not like a doomer, let's all die thing, but I'm like, let's invest in our local communities and prepare for the inevitable collapse by investing in people we love. Sorry, did anybody say just let trans people speak? Did somebody say that? Did anybody say just let trans people speak? Am I blind? Did someone say that and I just can't read it? Pretty sure the societal collapse is part of the plan. Well, I mean, they're at least doing it knowingly, if not intentionally. And as you guys may have heard me on a recent call on the line, is like, I believe if you do something knowingly, you are doing it intentionally. Oh, that's funny. I mean, that sucks that the air quality in your vents is that bad, that the dust in the vents is setting the fire alarms off, but it is, like, amusing. Oh, Shakespeare says just let trans people speak. Okay, I don't know what the context of that is because I don't know what Axla is. What is Axla? What is that? Shakespeare says, as a grassroots organizer, 100% local community is an incredibly important piece for us to all rally around, uplift each other. Yeah, every time my partner is talking about his friend from work, I'm like, oh, I wish I had a friend locally. But then I'm not doing anything that would enable me to meet people. The lag in this chat is incredibly obnoxious. Well, I have the delay on the chat so long so that it can do auto captions. Auto captions are an accessibility thing, so in order for me to have live captions, the delay has to be slightly longer. So these are the trade-offs we make between accessibility and comfort. You know what I mean? You do have a friend locally? Well, okay, yeah. I guess that's true. It is a little bit weird meeting. I've not yet deliberately met someone who is like primarily a member of the community. I mean, I've met people who've been like, "Hey, are you Alexander?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" in person. But I've never like tried to be friendly with people. It's interesting. As someone who's partially deaf in one ear, I appreciate the captions. Yeah. I didn't used to have them because I prioritized like that quickness, and I think like a 5 to 10 second delay is not that big of a deal. But yeah, I don't know. I look forward to September when I can go crash the city council meeting again. Because they're going to start having city council meetings again, or because it's going to be cool enough for you to go places? I've been kind of a hermit since I've been able to hide out in my shelter room. Oh, I mean, yeah, and I mean, even if it wasn't about the captions, there's like really not that much control I have over latency. It's like the internet is, you know, the internet is going to work the way that it works. I suggest we hit the Seattle Aquarium because my family has a membership and it's fun. Yeah, that would be great. I know that sometimes your ability to do things is limited, so please don't feel like if I have a plan to drive up there, don't feel like you have to push through that just because we have plans to do something. If you end up not feeling well enough or something, like as I'm trying to visit my friends in Seattle. City council meetings are out for August. Yeah. But yeah, no, I was going to say, Naomi, like, it makes sense to me to be like a little bit antisocial if you're literally unhoused and therefore have no privacy from people or anything. Like, yeah, of course you've got a room. And so now you're really like, yeah, closing the door and getting away from people. That makes perfect sense to me. If you've been using earbuds, you might have impacted earwax. That is a good point. I do use these. They're like more comfortable than a lot of other buds. And like, I want to get some noise canceling ones. And I think the primary way that you can get those if you don't want to spend like $300 is by getting buds. Just, you know, got to be careful. All right, no worries, Dizzy. Yeah, my plan is to go to Seattle in like September if it's cool enough. Obviously, since we're going to be there all day and I'm planning to like get lunch outdoors with Gayfesh, it can't be a day where it's going to be very hot. So I might end up even having to wait until like October. Or maybe, like, I don't know, if I'm going to be going to visit Gayfesh and Demon Mama, we might be able to, like, go to the beach or something and, like, walk around and be cool. Be so cool at the beach. Ooh, speaking of cool, I've shown you guys my puzzle ring before, haven't I? It's silver, but it's, like, fully tarnished now, which is fun. It's like it's got that little kind of Celtic knot thing going on here. Ciao. Nuvenal has finally caught up. We have many beach here. Yeah, obviously I'm not going to suggest that you go to the beach as someone who's in a chair. Like, that would be crazy. I mean, unless you have a beaches that you think are accessible, which could be cool. I just got back from finally meeting up with my best friend after years of knowing each other online, and at the end she admitted that she had learned from me she doesn't ever want people visiting at her place again, even though we had a blast together. Oh, wow. I guess it's good to learn those things. Like, okay, yeah, no, I don't ever want someone in my house again. Like, all right, nobody has to be in your house again. Yeah, it's a puzzle ring, so it fall apart. By the way, if anybody is feeling generous, obviously hitting the like button is quick and easy and free, and it's very appreciated, but you could also donate. Donations are good. I haven't gotten any donations today, and if we do get a donation, I will open up the secret treasure chest, which you can see right there. Secret treasure chest! Secret treasure chest! Nope, that's not it. I'm trying to, like, get it to go back together. Sometimes it gets, like, jumbled in a way that I can't get it to go back together. Oh, there it is. Ah! It's not really a puzzle ring anymore since I know how to do it, but still cute. This is part of my, like, trying to have a new style and, like, wearing jewelry is, like, I want to do these, like, earth tones. Like, I'm wearing, like, greens and browns and oranges as well as, like, the black, dark clothing that I have traditionally worn. And, like, so those colors go well with, like, tarnished silver or, like, dark brown or black jewelry, brass, that kind of stuff. Beaches are actually one place I can walk so long as we're on the sand because it hurts less to be on sand. Okay. Cool then. Drea.
Drea has donated $50. Everybody donate. Also, what's in the box?
Thank you. I don't have to read the donations because the text-to-speech reads the donations. I appreciate that. Jiminy Christmas. Very, very generous. And starting us off strong. Like a $50 donation gets us halfway there. Whoa! I like implying a joke by you know, only starting the joke and then letting everybody else autocomplete it. Thank you. Look at that. That was such a big jump. Jumped up to 50% already. We still have 2 more hours of stream planned, so that's 2 more hours to get half the we see that how that works out. We have half the donation amount now and we half the stream. What? I would give money to Lux, but I'm poor. Yeah, no, don't worry. If you guys are poor, please don't feel bad about it. Yeah, I am. I think that we're finally reaching a point where I'm like ready to start saving, or maybe even start like trying to get bonds and stuff like that, or maybe not bonds, like certificates of deposit or whatever to try to turn small amount of money into bigger amount of money. My sister has tinnitus and it becomes way worse when her ears clog and you can't always tell the ear is clogged when it clogs. Ooh, I might have to check on that then, because my tinnitus is so bad right now. Like, so bad. I just started paying attention and I'm like, it's like, it's so annoying. And then sometimes I'll get like a slightly lower pitch, often on the right ear, that's like, at the same time that there's, it's real fun. So exciting. I haven't been paid in the last 3 months. I've been living off of an IRA. Can't wait to get paid at the end of this month with my new job. That's exciting. You could have canceled your Patreon. It would have been okay. I know that you haven't. Like, you don't have to be on there still if you're living off of an IRA. Mersh. Trouble. Miro no. Hello. I've had tinnitus for like over a decade now. I think I damaged my hearing. I don't know if I had tinnitus before, but I definitely damaged my hearing at an indoor concert in December 2020. December 2020. I went to a concert for I Fight Dragons, one of my favorite bands. Actually, possibly my favorite band as far as bands go. Like Chappell Roan might be one of my favorite artists, but I Fight Dragons is probably my favorite band. And yeah, I went to a concert of theirs and it was at a venue I had never been to before. It was an indoor venue and it was so fucking loud. And it was like shocking to me as soon as the music started. And I should have gone and grabbed some earbuds, or some earplugs, but I just didn't know enough. Even 5 years ago, I didn't know enough. Glamour Clock, congratulations. Just got a new job at a small animal hospital as a lab tech. The crew is LGBT friendly, and I've already seen and learned a lot in the last 2 days. Congratulations. That's very good. I'm excited for you guys. You guys are finding new jobs and stuff. I was looking for a new job, and then I just decided to try to be better at this job. I don't know if that's going to pan out long term. Like, am I ever going to be able to, like, afford even a small house on this career? Like, my partner took a pay cut when we moved up here too. He's in a different job with less responsibility. My hearing damage is from playing in a punk band, going to concerts, and occasionally shooting a firearm without hearing protection on. Yeah, I would only ever use my firearm without hearing protection if I was in the middle of an active situation of some kind. It was like, it's so loud, especially at an indoor gun range. Jesus Christ. Wish I could find a job. Yeah, it's a tough market out there right now. It's super difficult. So I'm just I'm like trying to take on more responsibility with the line where possible. Starting a separate clips channel, you know, watching movies and stuff for my job and everything. Shooting outdoors was still a stupid idea. Yeah, even outdoors. I would probably not want to shoot my gun without hearing protection. It's even a good idea to double up on your hearing protection. I don't think I have it in here right now, but I have like a giant thing of 3M brand, like over-the-ear hearing protection, and I have a container of, I think that it's rated for up to like 31 decibel or something like that. I have like the squishy kind that go inside your ear as well, like double it up. I hate guns, too much explosion and loud. I want to get into archery, but like money and fatigue and shit. Yeah, if you wanted to try my bow at some point, Dizzy, I have a 25-pound bow. So it's like pretty much Or is it 20 pounds? Hold on. I have a 20-pound bow. So it's like as light as an adult bow can possibly be if you wanted to try it. And I have a leather thing for the fingers that can prevent as much stress on each of the individual fingers. It kind of spreads that force out. So if you wanted to try. Bow. With you on the guns. Bows are great. Guns are terrifying. I mean, yeah, I think guns are very scary, but also I want to have one. You know, like, if I want to go hiking by myself, I'm gonna have a gun. Ooh, I was reading this morning about how there's a place where I want to go hiking. I want to go, like, start trying to do some kind of easy level hikes. And apparently, there is a cougar and maybe even some of her babies who are just in that area right now. Like, cool. Good to know. Skeptoideus says, speaking of archery, I got a decent bow for only $50 from a local thrift store. God, I love thrift stores so much. You can find some of the coolest shit there. The only ranged weapon I own is a sling, but I think I lost the last two I made. I've never really dicked around with a sling. My partner did. I think my partner actually made himself, not a sling, but one of the things where you throw a spear or whatever, like... Cougar kittens are so cute. I know, but cougar mommies are scary. And they're just, like, hanging around in an area where I want to go hiking. Firearms plus a grenade exploding nearby took out my hearing in one ear. I was wearing military-issued earplugs from 3M that were defective. Oh, shit. Did you get a settlement? Don't run around the cougar's territory because it can make them automatically assume your prey. I'm sure you know that already. Yeah, I don't know a ton about cougars specifically. I know basically, like, you should make noise when you're hiking. So I have... Hold on. This is the stick that I plan to use for hiking. It's my shaman stick. I'm gonna be like, every step I take, I'm making noise. You know? You can carry... I always carry pepper spray. I don't carry bear spray. I mean, I guess I could if I was going hiking, but... And then if you actually see a cougar, you're supposed to, like, keep yourself facing it and keep yourself big and, like, make noise if needed. And if you start to retreat, you retreat while still facing it, and you retreat slowly. And that's pretty much everything I know about, like, almost every wild animal. I think you should treat them basically the same way. Lord, that stick is gay. Yeah, totally. Like, my gay uncle actually made these beaded bracelets that I just never wear. So I put them on here. And then this is actually a little gay colored... I think this is basically like a crown that you're supposed to tie around your head. And it's got rainbow. Yes! I would definitely carry bear spray while hiking. What if it's a park that's, like, not very far from the city? Also, don't wear red. I've never heard that before. Mountain lion attacks are usually on, like, kids or joggers. Okay, so kids who are running around, like joggers. Joggers are, like, running, and they're probably not observing their environment that much because it's, like, more intense cardio. So I can see why joggers would get got more often. Bear spray is concentrated cayenne pepper. If you can get some, it's useful for any predators you encounter, but do not hike alone in cougar territory. They are ambush predators and prefer fresh meat. True. Yeah. I think the trail that I was gonna go hike is not one that has a lot of trees around it, but I guess, and like, I guess also the sightings of these cougars have been mostly at dawn and dusk, so if I just don't go early in the morning. If you see a cougar, back away slowly and yell. Cougars gauge threat and effort when targets fight back. They also do not have a lot of stamina. If it does attack, fight like hell. Yeah. Like, yeah, of course. If an animal attacks me, I'm gonna fight like hell. Like, in fact, for the most part, standing my ground and fighting is the preferred option to running away. Because if I run, like, listen, I know that a cougar can catch me if I run away. Although you're right. If you like cougars, a lot of the time you don't even see them. They just hang out in trees and they drop on you. There's not much you can do to avoid the fight if that's what happens. But if you see one on the trail, it probably has its babies nearby and it just wants you to fucking go away. There's a really cool video of a guy who ran into a cougar with kittens, and it demonstrates how you handle that encounter. I've seen a few. Yeah, you just back away slowly, create distance. You're like, I see you, bitch, but I don't want to fight you. Because if you think about it, even animals who, like, fight for territory and stuff, they, oh, you surrender to a brown bear because fighting triggers further attacks? Yeah, so this is why you have a gun. If there's a brown bear who is, like, trying to run up at me, I'm just gonna shoot it. Like, that's... I know it's not ideal. Most black bears, unless it's a large male, will just run away from you. Black bears are cowardly little fucks who have run from barking dogs. Yeah, they're smaller. Black bears are smaller. Like a brown bear, I'd be fucking scared if I saw a brown bear. I'd be like, oh no, this is my life flashing before my eyes. But that's when you're like, I have a gun. That's what the gun is for. Brown bears are kind of difficult to take down with like a smaller pistol caliber. I know a 9mm is like not necessarily enough to completely stop a brown bear. You'd need like a 47 or something, whatever the fuck they're called. Yeah, no, that's why I carry my 50 cal. No. I think 45 was what I was thinking of, because a 45, if you have good aim, can hurt a bear pretty good. Oh, weird. Statistically, a large number of people who go missing hiking were wearing red in national parks. Really? Fortunately, brown bears are a lot less common than they used to be, and most of the time, if you make enough noise, they fuck off before you run into them. Yeah, I would assume that they are probably retreating further into the wilderness. I'm not... Listen, when I'm saying I'm trying to be a hiker, I'm not going in the deep country. I'm not going even far enough away from anywhere that I would lose cell signal. You know? Like, I'm just trying to start off easy. So it's like, hopefully I'm not going to be dealing with rain. Like, it's weird that there are cougars in the area where I want to go hiking because of how close it is to the city. Like, it's weird how I'm like, why are you there? I feel like there's plenty of people frequenting the area that you wouldn't be here. I don't know. They're probably ranging for food, though. You're more likely... That's a fun fact. You are more likely to die on the drive to a national park than dying by wild animal. Is that kind of like the statistic of, like, you're more likely to drive... Or, sorry, you're more likely to die driving to the airport than you are to die in a plane crash? Way more scared of bears than cougars. Yeah. I feel like it would be very difficult for me to be scared of a cougar because, like I was saying earlier, like, animals don't want to get into violent confrontations with animals that they think could hurt them back. You know, they want to eat prey. They want it to be an easy thing. They don't want to get hurt. They don't want to end up in a protracted fight or anything. The city is encroaching on wild animal territory. They are not invading us. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know, I guess, how much city expansion has been done recently in this area. Okay, but yeah, cougars will enter neighborhoods to hunt pets. It's one of those loss of habitat consequences. Sure, okay, I could see that. Maybe they're like, maybe I'll get lucky and grab one of these dogs. Nom 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 nom. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Cats especially don't want to have a confrontation. Yeah. They're like, I'm gonna look really scary and get you to leave. Bro, I have seen video of a house cat scaring away a black bear. And you know what the... Hold on, let me see if I can... Hold on. House cat black bear. Like, listen, there's more than one. If you just type this in, like, look at that. Google's like, look at all these different situations where a cat is, like, standing up to a bear. So... The whole Willamette region has exploded in the last 20 years. We used to be empty fields and forests. Okay. I guess I would have assumed that there was a lot more settling already that had previously occurred, but, you know, expansion is happening all over the place. Mountain lions love outdoor trash cans, too. You can get a very large kitty in your trash near the woods. Fun. Cougars are not social, they like stealth, they hate being spotted, and they don't want to fuck with you if they don't see you as prey. They just want you to fuck off, and a big hiss is very effective. Yeah, I'm not saying I would piss myself, but I'm saying I would understand if someone pissed themselves if a cougar was just suddenly in their life. There was a huge rush from California in the aughts, which is why Portland is so expensive now. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. That's fun. More recent history. Yeah, I've seen videos of this kind of thing too. When one of my cats was an itty-bitty kitten, she was toddling down the stairs and ran into our golden doodle, and she did not like his big 85-pound snoot in her 2-pound kitten face, and she puffed up and hissed, and he backed down. Yeah. I think that that's part of why bigger animals get scared of house cats, because they're like, this animal that is so much smaller than me is ready to throw down. I clearly do not know what this animal is capable of, so I'm just gonna leave. Like, it's like these bigger animals are just like, I don't... Yeah. My sister's dog, Augie, is like... He's like a blue heeler, so he's not a big dog. But he is scared of the cats. And even when we tried to introduce one of our cats, who was really nice to him, and his brother, Pax, they would just, like... They would just be really scared, and my cat would be walking up like, hey, I want to be your friend. And the dogs are like, like, just terrified. Yes, exactly. The cat is packing heat, clearly with that much confidence. Yeah, this animal was small and has doubled in size. I am going to get away from this shapeshifter. You guys must have seen this. Oh, I guess this is a whole genre now. This is the one that I was thinking of. How to spot a polymorphed dragon. But apparently there's a whole genre of this now. Because here's another one. It's like a cat on this, like, broken bench. Similarly with honey badgers and lions. Honey badgers are so aggressive that lions are just like, nope. Yeah, that's funny. I'm gonna take my little midstream break, y'all, because my voice is a little bit tired. So I'm gonna take a break, and I'm gonna come back. The plan is to keep going until 3 p.m. I might not. I might only go for another hour. I don't know. I haven't decided. But just chill for a minute while I put on some music and let you guys hang out. Okay, I'm back. Sorry that the music did not last as long as my break did. At least I don't think. Did I goof up somehow and it only played one of the songs instead of two different songs? I don't know. Oh well. We're back now. The crisis has been averted. I've been so slow today that I'm on my first cup of tea. I haven't had nearly as much tea this week. I just kind of fell off of the habit, but I do love tea. Wait, what? Hold on. What's going on? Oh my gosh. Conversation has happened while I was gone. The amount of posts I see on r/whatisIt or similar subreddits where it's some clueless tourist holding an animal that could kill them so they can take a picture of it is depressing. I genuinely, I'm one of those people who's like, I am not touching bugs. Not because I'm scared of them. Like, okay. I think there's a difference. Oh my god, my eyelid just will not stop twitching today. It's really pissing me off and I don't know what the problem is. Maybe I need more potassium or something. Oh, no, maybe I'll take like a magnesium glycinate. I haven't eaten enough food today probably to be doing this, but I'm tired of my eyeball twitching, so we're going to try to take a magnesium glycinate. I think we just set a new record for longest amount of time on stream without talking about tea. Yeah, because we haven't talked about tea at all today. I haven't been drinking it the past week, so... but yeah, I think I can have a healthy respect for the fact that I do not know about animals and have that not mean like, oh, I'm scared. You know? Like, I just... So if I see anybody, unless it's, okay, like a slug, usually if I see slugs, I usually like flick them. I'll see slugs in my garden area and I'm like, get the fuck out of here. So I might throw a grub across something if I'm pretty sure I can grab the grub and it will not be able to bite me. But even then, I'm like, because I don't know which bugs have an irritant that if you touch them, it will hurt you. Or like, I don't know. I don't know enough about bugs to be touching them. Healthy respect. Grab a, like if I'm wearing garden gloves, then sure, I'll grab it and like yeet it or whatever. Oh, that sucks, Naomi. Wait, what are invasive? Some beetle that you're talking about? June beetles. Slugs are horribly damaging to gardens. Yeah. I think, like, I might even avoid putting up any brassicas. I don't know if it's the slug. But, like, I can tell that someone had planted some cabbage and stuff, and they were being eaten. So I'm like, okay, these... Like, maybe I shouldn't plant any brassicas next year because there's slugs in this garden. It's 420. Nice. East Coast 420. What are... I don't even know what an anole is. Oh, they're lizards. Okay. My brother would piss off tiny lizards and make them bite his ear and then wear them as earrings. Yeah, that sounds like a dumbass brother thing to do. Someone might have told me that June beetles are invasive when they meant the marmorated stink bugs. Okay. June bugs, non-invasive. Put the rubber stamp on it. Non-invasive. I'm excited to post a new video this week. I'm like... I just have been feeling bad about the lack of progress that I've been making on Mulan, so I feel good being like, look, it's fine if that project doesn't get worked on. Like, I hyped it up too much. I'm having a hard time finishing it. So I just should do something else on a shorter term basis and just start uploading content so that I have content being uploaded. And then every once in a while, that content will just be super high quality and I'm not going to say anything about it before it happens. The lesson that I have learned. Isn't there some slugs that only eat other slugs? You could release some. Yeah, but I could also just kill the slugs by throwing them. Brown anoles in Florida are invasive. Yeah, there's nothing you're doing with them at this point. Anole is clearly short for asnole. True. That is a bona fide fact. Throwing slugs won't kill them. They are amazingly resilient. What if I'm throwing them into a parking lot? Do you think that that might kill them? By being on a hot asphalt where there are lots of cars in the middle of the day? My grandpa used to deal with snails in the garden by baiting them out with a cup of beer and then disposing of them. So I put together a little tiny terrarium that I have in my window. It's in a little glass ball almost, and I've just been picking up moss from outside and just sticking moss in there with some soil and like a couple of twigs. And I don't know how there ended up being a slug in there, but there ended up being a slug in there. And then I put it in a jar and then I put it in the freezer. And I think I still need to throw it away. Like that's the way that I tend to deal with pest bugs if they're inside, is I just freeze them. One thing you could do for wrapping up Mulan is watch Blue Eye Samurai, which feels like the spiritual sequel to Mulan, even though it's not related. Y'all have mentioned Blue Eye Samurai to me multiple times. It's a TV show, right? Like it's not like a movie. I think that I saw this and was like, oh, it's a TV show, and I don't even know if it's even kind of trans-related, so I didn't end up adding a synopsis to it on my document. I think I just decided, like, oh, I don't want to watch that. And now, okay, we have a season 2 teaser that has just recently come out. And it's on Netflix. Okay, so I am not presently taking any requests for Netflix shows. I don't have Netflix. I'm not paying for them right now. I will get a list of Netflix shows I need to watch, and then I will watch them, and I'm just going to do it all in like 1 month. Okay, Blue Eye Samurai is very trans. Ugh, God. Mizu manages to be MTF and FTM at the same time. Okay. Okay, I can appreciate that. It probably was a little baby slug that just grew to be big enough for you to see it. Yeah, I guess it was just really tiny, like hiding in some of the moss that I picked up off the floor. You can put copper tape around the edge of planters to keep slugs and snails from getting in there. They do not like crawling over copper. Okay, cool. Okay, so Blue Eye Samurai is very trans. I should watch it, but it's on Netflix, so I'll fucking get to it. I'll get to it eventually. Apparently, today is Marsha P. Johnson's birthday. She would be 80 years old now. Suggest waiting until the second season of Blue Eye Samurai drops. All right. I'll wait. Like I said, I'm not in a rush to like watch any Netflix IP at the moment. Wait, what is the context here? Banana says, crazy how resilient insects are. I'm pretty sure if someone threw a Ford F-150 at me, I would perish instantly. But no, bugs just carry on business as usual. Are you throwing something at a slug that is not crushing them somehow? Okay. Mizu is born female, but gets assigned male for plot reasons and grows up struggling between the roles of men and women. Ooh, okay. Okay, so it is explicitly trans. Okay, I guess that has to fucking be on the list then, doesn't it? Where even is it? Where even is it on my list? Blue Eye Samurai is way down here, and it needs to be further up the list. I've got like my... Yeah, I definitely need to separate these out. But right now I've got like trans movies and then more general, where a lot of them are like queer. I've started a tag system where I'll tag it with like lesbianism or gay shit. Those are like, oh, bisexuality is another one of the... Y'all are recommending movies with like queer shit going on in them. Slugs are well padded, but that's all I'm going to say. It is rude to talk about a girl's slime layer. Okay. Oh, referring to the fact that you can whack a bug and sometimes they'll just keep flying. Some insects can survive being stepped on for some time. Pretty sure if the iron giant stepped on me, I would be gone instantly. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing about having skin holding in all of our organs rather than having like a chitinous form containing all of our organs. It's keeping all of the paste inside, you know? Your chitinous carapace. Oh my goodness. I have some schmutz. Some schmutz making it hard for me to swallow. Apparently, the Mamdani campaign has started a scavenger hunt. So that's fun. Kat Abu Ghazaleh commented on it saying, my only criticism of Zaron's campaign is that we've been working on a campaign scavenger hunt for months and now we look like copycats. And she says, JK, I think it's fun that they're doing that. Spilling water on my desk. Spilling water. Spilling water. Spilling water, spilling water, spilling water. There we go. All better. The Iron Giant couldn't exist IRL because of the physics of it all. Too much strain on the joints from that amount of mass. There's a reason why organic structures tend to be within a certain size range. And it's because of physics. Hi, baby. Hi, buddy. Are you my baby? He's just immediately going to the spot that he lays on the floor over there. Uncomfy, you silly bean. This is not transmedia, but have you read the Ancillary Justice trilogy by Anne Leckie? Nope. It is set in a future space culture where they don't distinguish by gender, so for language reasons, all characters are she. Oh, I haven't seen that. Yes, there is a cat. Hello, Mr. Baby. He's just chilling on the floor. can you imagine if a species used titanium for their bone structure? They could be so much larger. That's fair. I wonder a little bit if, like, so in Game of Thrones, George R.R. Martin, he's got the dragons, and the dragons' bones are actually black because of their iron content. So I kind of wonder if that's part of the explanation that his dragons can be so big because their bones are made out of metal. If you drop a toddler from their own height and they're fine, but you drop an adult from their own height and they are not. Well, it's, I mean, you know, it's like a difference of magnitude. Also, toddlers are squishier, and they're, like, better able to distribute the forces. Tell the cat I said meow. Okay. Hey, you. I have to hold him like he's a criminal because I don't want his claws in my sweater. Are you a baby? Are you a criminal baby? Hello. Do you make me look like Halloween because we're black and orange? Are you baby? You smell like the cat box. So that's great. Hi. He's like, this is the worst version of this. Please stop. Don't you dare touch my sweater. I'll kill you. Is that my sweater? Hmm? Yeah, he doesn't like being picked up at all. So he's always real grumpy. Yeah, are you stinky boy? Did you get cat litter on me? Hmm? Do you want down? Will you kiss me? Okay. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah, he is a shitbox baby. Okay, bye. Is your sweater dark orange or brown? I mean, brown is orange. Like, but that's... brown is orange. Clean your shit-ass litter feet, smelly man. Yeah, I know, I'll tell him. Hey, clean your shit-ass litter feet, smelly man. He's just not really good at grooming himself. My cat's the same. She hates being held as much as I love holding her. He tolerates it sometimes. Like, especially, like, the other day I picked him up and I was letting him, like, smell stuff. And he was like, I am gonna smell the shit out of this dragon and this skull. He was into it. Not all brown is orange, but a lot of brown is. I think most brown is... Yeah, like, most brown is orange. So, this is... It is like a dark... It's like a burnt orange. I think it's cute, and it's comfy. It's a little knitted sweater. Shitbox baby. Gross. Some brown is red or yellow, but most of it is orange. That's interesting. So you're saying, like, as you get into, like, the goldenrod range of yellow, it starts to become brown? Brown is not a real color. Question for Lux in chat. Is maroon brown? No, I think maroon is like a really dark red. Right? Maroon? Which is a little bit confusing because brown in Espanol is marrón. It's what makes shading my art a nightmare. Oh, really? Do you usually use colors that are, like, difficult to create good shadows for? Haha, yeah, we know. Technically, white is also all the other colors. Which I think is why when I turn this on white, it almost looks like... It looks like more bluish or purpley. Just for the sake of example, I'll turn it back green in a minute. You see, it's like, it's got almost like a pinkness to it, but also a little bit of a bluiness to it. It's because like the white is comprised of LEDs of other colors. Maroon is a lot of red and a little bit of blue. Okay. I don't dislike this either. Like, I think that this color scheme is not bad. Just with like a really, it's like a weird hue lit on the back end. But like the green looks good because there's a unhealthy amount of green in the fucking paint on my walls. Like, why did you pick like a greenish gray? Stupid decision. Yeah, do colors really exist? It's more of a metaphysics substrate. True. Yep. We do love an actually here. Look at that. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Check your notifications on the bell and consider joining the Patreon. Yes. We love having animations that go off automatically. I don't notice them a lot of the time. So if I'm ever saying anything while they're on the screen, it's because I'm like, I happened to be looking at it when it showed up. Oh, Discord DMs. What? I'm on streamer mode, so I don't get notifications. What am I looking at? I'm going to open this image in a new tab. Can I? What? Open link. Thank you. Okay, Dizzy says, most of the time I have to use a light purple, pink, or blue set to multiply to make whatever I'm shading not look like shit, because if I just made the yellow darker, I'd have like, yeah, if you make the yellow darker, it's just like this kind of gray color. Well, this is what color theory is for, right? Like, you're not supposed to just do a darker version of the same color in the shadows. And I am not trying to lecture you because I know that I'm not an artist and I don't know anything, but this is part of why I think art is so difficult, is because I don't understand color theory. But like, you're supposed to create like a different color of shadow and not just like a darker version of the same color. That's what color theory is about. Gonna break out the Peterson word salad generator? Oh no. Don't do this to me. How yellow become darker? Oh, I guess yellow become brown? You make yellow into brown? What do you add to it to make it do that? I don't know. I really love those videos of the silicone. You know when the silicone is like spinning and they throw colors into it and then they cut it and then like they keep rolling it in a different direction. I am not good at those because they have you guess. They'll put on the screen at the beginning, they're like, do you think it's going to be brown or do you think it's going to be green? And I am not good at this game. How yellow become darker is you make a new layer, set it to multiply, and then you draw like a desaturated mauve on it and it looks good. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, coloring, I guess like color theory is a good thing for me to learn because even some of my casual hobbies like watercolor and colored pencil, like those are some things that I had been doing as a hobby. Man, I need to get back into just doing things for the purpose of relaxing. I am so not good at it. I feel like I'm not accomplishing anything, but then also I don't do things that I enjoy. Terrible combo. I guess the past couple weeks I've just been watching a lot of True Blood. That's on me. That's on me. I'm binge watching a show. Binge watching trash TV. It's strange how some hues of yellow look like green, as in dark yellows. Yeah, because I guess people are like, what else do you add to this? Like, what do you add to it to make it darker? Like blue, probably. I'm almost out of water again. I'm a thirsty boy today. What's going on this upcoming week? Is there anything good coming up this upcoming week? I'm planning to stream on Wednesday, probably. And then I have a big long... I'm doing 2 shows in a row on Thursday. Which means I probably shouldn't expect anything from myself on Friday. Have you ever tried colored pencil over graphite? You got to hit it with a spray first called a workable fixative, but it's fun. Ooh, no, I haven't tried that. I have no idea what that even would do. Colored pencil over graphite. Workable fixative. Okay, well, at least I have a tab open for that later. But I mostly just got like some adult coloring books and have been just like coloring in that in the most basic way possible, like not trying to do any shading or anything, just very simple coloring. Oh, okay, we have a DeviantArt example. Oh, okay, so this is someone doing colored pencil over graphite. So they did the graphite and they did all the shading first. Like they did, this was probably like a completed black and white drawing, or mostly completed, and then they came in and did the color. That's cute. I like that. Oh, is this one yours? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Oh, I see on the right, like on the mountaintop. There is your name right there. I just wasn't paying attention to that. Thank you for sharing. That's really pretty. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, your watermark too is just really tiny in my eyeballs right now. On the mountaintop at deviantart.com. Thank you, Logan. Wanted to give a shout out. You've given me so much hope and information. Thank you. I appreciate that. I am glad that I have made some amount of difference in the world. I try to give myself some slack in that sense, because I'm like, oh, I could be doing more, but I definitely have already done good in the world. So thank you for reminding me of that. Okay, this is what the drawing looked like before it received color. That's so pretty. So pretty. And then here's color. Pretty. I like how expressive the eyes are. Like, that's a very chilled out animal. How we interpret colors is entirely internal. What you see as red might be what someone else sees when they look at green and so on. Everyone knows what color is associated with red, but nothing says our brains interpret it exactly the same. That's true. However, there is still going to be a relationship between the colors. So even if someone's color wheel is like spun around and they're seeing yellow where you see red, they would still be like, so if, for example, like if with red you use like you have like a contrasting blue, then if you use yellow, it's going to have a similarly contrasting color on the opposite side of the color wheel. So there's still going to be the same kind of like associations between colors, and it seems as though by color psychology that even if people are seeing something different, they are still experiencing certain emotional impacts from it, like how green is associated with discomfort. Like you wouldn't want to paint like a dentist's office green because it makes people feel uncomfortable, but you can paint dentist's office like baby blue, and that tends to put people at ease. And people associate red with like anger and passion. So like even if we are seeing different things, I don't know how much material difference that makes if people are by and large still processing the colors emotionally in the same way. I can't remember what refs, if any, I used for this image. It was a decade ago. Yeah, the light spectrum is the same for all your eyeballs. You and some of the other people on the line as well have been huge in helping me along the way. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I will be on Takis this week, and then we're doing Calling It Now right after Takis, so I'm going to be very much busy and on the line on Thursday this week. And just for the sake of, you know, whatever, I also just started a brand new channel called Luxander Line Clips, where I'm posting my clips from the line. So, you know, feel free to click that. I only have 30 subscribers there, so if we could pump those numbers up, that would be great. People are like, what if the red I see doesn't look like the red you see? But nobody does that for sound. And like sound, color has some physics to it. The wavelengths are what they are and they don't change, so your perception of it will be unique to you, but it's the same underlying math. Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. I like the idea that like that perception could be so subjective that it has the potential to be different. But yeah, like so long as we are all cohesively pointing at the same color when we think of red, like what material difference does it actually make? I've also heard people claim that like you lose some of the ability to perceive color as you age. Like I've heard people claim, and I haven't looked into this whether it's true, but people claim that when you're younger, the earth seems brighter, like colors seem more highly saturated because you're like having damage to the cones in your eyes, the rods and cones in your eyes as you get older. Oh no, why am I so hungry all of a sudden? I feel like I ate way too much yesterday, so I'm so skeptical of the fact that I feel hungry right now. I'm like, dude, I feel like I snacked way too late at night and I ate too much, and now I'm trying to be hungry again? Come on now. And I did eat before stream, it just was not very much apparently. Losing color is about when your cones wear out. Yeah, the joys of getting older while your body slowly falls apart. I am so determined to be like the best physical version of myself that I can be. Like obviously I have a disability and I do definitely have a problematic relationship with it where I push myself too far and things like I don't want to be limited, so of course I keep rebelling against it, and that is internalized ableism and it does hurt me, and I know that. But like, yeah, I do want to be the best physical version of myself, and it does so happen that my condition can get better with exercise. So I'm determined. I every single show I do, I'm standing. Like, I don't know if you noticed this, I move around a lot and everything. Like, it's because I'm standing. Every time I do Takis, the line, whatever, I might not be able to do it for the full 5 hours next time, like later this week. I'm like, for calling the line, or for calling it now, excuse me, I might go ahead and sit down just since I will have already been standing for 3 hours. But it matters a lot to me to be like active, and even though I do have limitations with, like I hurt my elbow every time I go bowling, but guess what? I just got an ace bandage and I wrapped my elbow. I might try like a compression sleeve. I just don't, okay, I want your guys' advice or opinions on this. Do you think a compression sleeve that I can just like pull on is going to prevent my elbow from hyperextending? Because what I've been doing is using an ace bandage and just like bending my arm a little bit and wrapping it and like leaving the elbow like relatively unobstructed, but like still heavily padding over here so that it's like my arm doesn't want to fully extend because of the way that it's wrapped. I don't know if something that I can just slip on is going to be sufficient to prevent my hyperextending. But yeah, I'm like I will figure out a way. I will wear some kind of device, and like I wear compression socks most days to make sure I have good blood flow and everything. I will do whatever I can to be physically active. Do you have EDS or something like that? Yeah, but not diagnosed. Like, it's just super obvious that I have connective tissue problems. Like, I have stretch marks in all kinds of weird places on my body, and my elbows hyperextend, but I'm really inflexible in my posterior chain. Like, I'm not flexible in the way that, like, if I reach down and try to touch my toes, like, that is something that I would have to actively work on. So it's weird because I have flexibility in some areas, but not in others. And I have issues with some parts of my body, but not others. Or like, I've always been super flexible in doing the butterfly stretch. So like my hips are really flexible in that particular way. I'm not entirely sure. Like, I think that my shoulders probably aren't very stable, but I'm not sure. Like, I don't know. You should probably look at what other people with EDS are using. I've not had elbow issues. Yeah, but you aren't bowling. I'm saying like, so bowling, you're like, there's a heavy ball and you bring it up behind you and then swing it through, and some part of that process I hyperextend in a way that's painful. So, but when I stabilize it, it's not a problem. Like, it hasn't been a problem the last few times I've gone bowling because I wrap it. Oh, that's bad, Dizzy. Oh no. Isn't vascular EDS like the version of EDS that can kill you? Why are they not doing the test for you? That's wild. I can't fucking believe that shit. It's hard to get an EDS or POTS diagnosis from what I've heard from people with both. Yeah, I don't even have a primary care physician. I like need to get health insurance so that I can get a PCP. Perhaps if it extends up above your elbow. Yeah, well, that's what I would get. There's ones that they make that cover your whole elbow. I know that they also make ones that just compress right below your elbow. I don't see that that would have any impact on me whatsoever. Vascular EDS can mean you'll die in like your 50s. Yeah. And I'm just sitting here assuming that I don't have vascular EDS. I don't know if I do. I'm assuming I don't. I said valvular. Oh, I didn't know that there was valvular EDS. I thought it was just vascular. Yeah, just get the fucking genetic test. Just run the test. It's so bothersome to me. Like, I don't even think I have a version of EDS that would show up on a genetic test, but it would be great if I could get it. Shit's so expensive. Vascular is the die at 40 kind. Valvular is the your heart valve is fucked kind. Oh, I see a difference there. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. The person I knew had the vascular kind. They started getting spots on their body. What kind of spots? Because I do have, like, pedichy all over my body. And I've always just assumed that that's from having, like, dry skin. But I don't know. Like, I have tiny little red spots everywhere. I mean, mostly on my arms, really. I guess I don't really see them on my legs or anything. It's just on my arms. That feel when you're like casually on stream trying to determine if you have a deadly version of a disease. This is the state of healthcare in America right now. I hate those tiny little red spots. Yeah, but they're like normal, I think. I hope, like, fingers crossed that they're normal. Congenital heart deformity called a bicuspid aortic that causes a regurgitative murmur. Gross. Just the regurgitative murmur is a weird concept. Isn't the US healthcare meaning looking things up on WMD? Or, yeah, like WebMD, like, WebMD and talking about it with your friends and saying things like, well, I hope that's nothing serious. Like, yeah, that's all the American healthcare system. Isn't it wonderful? Ugh. I need to get back in a habit of daily stretching. You do feel so much better. And it's so annoying. All these things that people tell you to do, and then you do them and you do feel better, and you're like, nah. Regurgitative murmur means that the blood doesn't flow through properly. Some of it backwashes into the chamber it was just pumped out of. So when I say gross in this context, I mean, I do not like thinking about my inner organs. I don't necessarily mean like gross, like in a poop kind of way, but I mean gross in like a, if I think too much about my inner organs, I am going to get nauseated kind of way. Like, the fact that we are just robots made of meat is unsettling sometimes. Like, if you really think you're sitting there like thinking about it, like sometimes I really don't enjoy thinking about it. Viscera spoopy. Viscera is spoopy. It's so spoopy. I am a meat popsicle. I know. I know. Dude, I'm gonna flirt with my partner with that later. I'm gonna be like, I'm a meat popsicle. I need to be put on a stick. Terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. I don't think it's gonna work. I don't think I'm gonna get laid doing that, but I'm still gonna say it. Oh, I don't really need Patreon open right now. That's not the most horny inducing line. Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta, you know, just gotta bust out the silliness. I feel like silliness is a good opening the door to connection. And connection can be a point from where intimacy builds, even if the inciting connection point was not horny. But maybe I'm just rationalizing. Oh no. Dizzy says, I never realized that my heartbeat was abnormal, even though I've been getting echocardiograms since I was a baby, because I just thought the echo machine made your heart sound funny. But then I looked up normal EKGs and was like, holy shit, they all sound like the movie Heartbeat stock noise. Mine's just, yeah. That's funny. My heart has always sounded fine. Like, I know my younger sibling had a murmur when they were a baby, but I think that has resolved, or at least I hope it's resolved since then. I hope I don't need to worry about them having a heart murmur. It's like bad enough dealing with the fact that I think that my younger sibling might have ARFID. We've been trying to figure out, like, why are they having such a hard time gaining weight? Like, since they moved in with me, we've been struggling with this problem. But it's like not anorexia and it's not binge eating disorder. And I'm like finally getting them to explain shit to me. And I'm like, oh, I think you just have ARFID. Like, some autistic people have such a deep food sensitivity that it just like, and like the safe food can change. Like, they were saying that they were eating yogurt just fine up until recently, and now suddenly yogurt is gross. And I'm like, okay, great. So let's try to get you some safe foods that we can keep around the house so that no matter what, you're still hitting like this basic level of nutrition every day. It's been difficult. I've never understood why people find kissing to be sexy. All those bacteria-infused juices swapping between each other. I think that most of the time, like, we are just able to ignore that part and focus on the physical sensation because kissing feels good. True, kids are hard. So, that's been fun. Like, the last 2 years of being like, I am a parent suddenly, and I have these responsibilities. Ugh. Man, I'm a little bit bummed out because the Kansas City Renaissance Festival starts this upcoming weekend, and we are not going. I don't have any plans to go there. We were going to try to make it happen, and then we just realized that there was no way for us to take that amount of time off work with him having a new job and everything. And yeah, we just decided that it was not feasible for us this year. We might do next year, but so we have to like watch all of our friends posting pictures from the Ren Fair and like have to be sad and miss everybody. Sad. We did go to our local Renaissance Festival a couple months ago, but it was like not the same. Like we mostly just went there and looked at stuff and bought stuff, and that was pretty much it. And I was like, oh, that was a bummer. We're probably still gonna go next year. But the point of Ren Fair for me is running around, making trouble, seeing my friends. I do sometimes buy stuff, but it's not like that's the entire point. Swapping bacteria is a sign of trust. It's true. Yeah, it's Ren Fair season. I think Minnesota Renaissance Festival just started too. It's that time of year. And gosh, we are almost in September. The year's just trucking along. Recently took my little sister clothes shopping, and she's trans, if I remember right. Like, she's trans femme. You have to manage her emotions while active listening, trying to navigate my own fatigue, her discomfort with dysphoria, and the nastiest Target manager I've ever run into. Let's not shop at Target anymore. Have they not lost? I don't know. I'm not saying like let's boycott Target, but I like never go to Target. There's nothing I could possibly need there that I can't get elsewhere. My cousins went back to school already. Yeah, it's that time of year. Yeah, of course. I would have expected school to start last week. Yeah, like the 18th is when I would have expected them to go back. Pretty sure it's still like April. You're the second person I've seen say that. My friend Milena also was saying something about like, wow, this is the longest April I've ever had. Target is bad. Only reason I go there is because my CVS is in it. Yeah. I like the planner that I buy, that I've bought the last couple of years. Like, I like this planner, and therefore I have bought a second one. But it's just like I might just have to go to Walmart and get a different planner that has a lot of the same stuff in it. Oh, you know what's really dumb though is like, okay, so I got this planner that has like a weekly, like, okay, here's all 7 days and you can write stuff for each week. And then occasionally there's like a month page, you know? Month page. And between them, there's like, so first of all, I really like that it has this thing where you're supposed to check in and write down like, you know, monthly review, ways I took care of myself, connected with this person. And then there's a quote, right? But the thing that I have an issue with is that this quote doesn't get updated year to year. Looking at last year's monthly quotes, these are the same. So if nothing else, I need a new planner this year because I want one that has like new stuff in it. It is the longest January 20th we've ever had. True. I've interviewed for Target before, and you don't even get to talk to a person. They give you interview prompts to answer on your phone or webcam. It's so shitty. I mean, I would assume that means that it's pretty easy to get hired, but I don't know. I mean, to be fair, you're not really supposed to use fitting rooms unless there's a person there who can be like, I know how many items you're taking in there and everything. So I could understand them being annoyed at somebody using the fitting rooms that say closed, I guess. But I also would never use fitting rooms that say closed, me personally. Be careful what you wish for. You might end up with AI-generated quotes in your calendar. True. That's a good point. But I wish that I engaged with it more on the, like, end of month things. Maybe I just need to, like, set myself an alarm in my phone or, like, a reminder to, like, sit down and go, like, what have I done this past month? Let me think about it. I just hate the trend towards making everything feel more and more dehumanizing. Yeah, I think at one point I was interviewing to be an Amazon driver or something like that, and it was a similar thing where, like, you just sent in, like, a picture or, like, a voice recording or something. I can't remember if I got it and then just decided not to pursue it or what, or if I just canceled the process halfway through. I know that I have never driven for Amazon before, so... I don't think we're gonna find out what's in the chest today. I don't think we're gonna find out what's in the treasure chest this time. I moved it earlier. I haven't decided which way I like it over there. It's kind of hard to see regardless. It is visible and there, but it is still hard to see. Yeah, I don't know. Not much I can do about that. Do you keep the same thing in the chest if the goal wasn't reached? Yeah, you're okay, Drea. I still appreciate it. So it depends. The last 2 streams, the same thing was in there. We did not open the chest either of those times, and it has now been removed. So it depends. Sometimes I'll be like, ooh, you know, I'll leave it in there, and sometimes I swap it out. Like, sometimes you only get 1 shot. So, remains to be seen if it's going to be in there next time. Okay, I got you, Dizzy. At that point, I would just, like, try stuff on over my clothes. Just, like, put it on top of whatever I'm already wearing. Like, what? You said that the fucking thing was closed, so... But I know it's tricky. Being in public as a trans person. My Goodwill always has a very nice lady at the trying on clothes place. So... I'm usually able to try on clothes pretty easily. God, I want to go look again. I don't know if you guys realize this, but I have been, like, getting rid of a lot of clothes periodically over the years. And, like, I've recently gained weight, so I'm, like, I'm not keeping clothes that were already a little bit too small that are now way too small. I'm, like, getting rid of them. And I also, like, have a bunch of t-shirts, and I don't like wearing t-shirts anymore. I don't like the way they fit. I used to wear t-shirts because I was trying to cover my chest, and I would wear a binder, and it's like wearing t-shirts all the time. I don't like t-shirts, so I don't want to wear them. And I'm, like, trying to expand my closet a little bit with a specific dedicated kind of style in mind, and... So, like, right now I genuinely don't have very many clothes to choose from. Yeah. Yeah, being an older person for a young trans person is... it's so challenging. It's not, like, not worth doing, but it does certainly have its, like, unique challenges. And... sometimes it takes, like, a lot more hands-on involvement than you think. Because I think that a lot of trans people are, like, somewhat developmentally delayed, if that makes sense. So, even though they're, like, late teenagers, they're still dealing with, like, some more basic level issues. Or even, like, trans young adults. Like, they just have a lot going on. So it can be tough. On top of all the other reasons why being that age is already normally tough. I was out in the middle of the view, pulling sundresses on over my clothes because I can't give a fuck anymore who sees me. True. Yeah, the trans autistic thing. Yeah, for sure. And being that, like, we aren't even parents, like, we're just older siblings who are having to take on a parental role because our parents are not up to the task. Like, yeah, that's its own... Like, I don't have kids. I don't want kids. I have been unsure about it for a lot of time in the past, but, like, I'm pretty sure that I would not want a young child. I think that I would be really good at, like, explaining things, but I don't think I would be good at being emotionally available for that kid. And it would take up a huge amount of my time, and I have other shit that I want to do. So, like, there's a reason why I don't have kids already. So now being like, I basically have like a mostly grown adult that I am now responsible for in adopting an older sibling, or adopting my younger sibling, but who is an older teenager. Yeah, exactly, Dizzy. Oh my god, Dizzy, I'm gonna talk to you more in private about, like, just in general, like, when I'm dealing with stuff with my younger sibling. Because, yeah, my sister's like an adult, but we're still doing a lot of life lessons that other people learn at 15, 16. Yeah, my sibling is 19, and, like, I am just, like, yeah, we're still doing basic stuff. Like, don't put a bunch of food down the sink. Like, just because there's a garbage disposal doesn't mean that you should just put food down the sink. Like, stuff like that. I'm not a good fit for a primary caregiver. No, I don't think I don't know, man. Like, I know that I would give it my all and it would empty me out as a parent. Like, if I had a younger kid. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll just remain open to the idea of, like, if there's later on, like, a 12-year-old that needs help and I'm like, okay, well, I'm in a position where I can help a 12-year-old and I have 6 years of time plus, like, 6+ years of time to dedicate to helping this person. Like, maybe I could be open to something like that, but I don't think I'm gonna, like, deliberately go out of my way to adopt or foster or anything. It might just be like, oh shit, another family member of mine needs this level of support, or a really close friend of the family or something needs this level of support. I don't have the energy to have, like, a toddler. Confirm my own anecdotal story of developing a good 5 to 7 years late. Totally. I've done puppies multiple times and that shit's exhausting. Don't make me do it with a human. I could see myself getting a really young dog in order to turn it into exactly the kind of dog that I want, potentially. But yeah, even that is like, that's like a couple of months of kind of mostly doing nothing else other than training and caring for a dog. Yeah, raising a baby mammal that I gotta help learn to talk and wipe their own ass and stuff, like, and trying to help that person become, like, emotionally stable, and like, having these moments where you are having an emotional reaction and you're like, it's just not acceptable for me to have this reaction toward this child, so I have to regulate myself and then get on their level. And sometimes that child is throwing shit at you, and, like, the level of control that requires. I'm sure I could do it, but again, it would take everything I have. I tried having cats, and it's kind of been a disaster. No! We are thinking about another cat again. I was like, man, I don't think I really want to deal with this, but I feel so bad for him, like, being lonely anytime, like, the three of us are occupied and, like, not interested in giving him attention, or if we're just, like, gone, or if it's nighttime and nobody's around for him. Like, I think that he needs a buddy. So we might have to accelerate the plans. And if I get a new cat, you know who's gonna hear about it first? Patreon. Even with a puppy, you can't make them into what they're not. Yo. I agree. Part of getting a puppy with the correct disposition is, like, you have to get the right puppy in the first place. Like, if I want a dog that is very unreactive and is very calm and is able to accept instruction easily, like, those are things that you have to select for in a puppy and then continue to train into. But yes, yeah, dogs are individuals. You got to work through their growth stages and their fear periods, and they all potty train differently. Totally, yeah. My parents were neglectful, so I feel like I was forced to be more independent, but I also missed a lot of lessons that less shitty parents would have taught me. Yeah. In this situation, my younger sibling was neglected, but it's like they were supported just enough that they didn't end up developing some of those independence things. Like, dinner was being made for them most of the time, so they didn't have to learn to cook. And the adults in the house didn't give a shit about the dishes either, so the dishes were only really being done as needed. It's like, oh, I need a fork right now. I'm going to go wash this fork right now. So yeah, we're missing a lot of that stuff. But now they're at a point where I'll be like, okay, you're gonna make dinner, and they just like make dinner and it's delicious. And then they clean up afterwards, and it's like, okay. We're still having to deal with like, okay, I'm pulling out clean dishes that you washed by hand and they're still dirty, and having to deal with like them being pretty sensitive to feedback. So if I say like, hey, you need to go rewash this, sometimes even that level of like, hey, I want you to go rewash this, can you see how it's dirty still? Even that is enough to like engender a crying reaction. So I'm like, I feel like that's really unreasonable, but that's clearly coming from some kind of level of sensitivity or trauma. So I can't just be like, bro, get over it. What the fuck is wrong with you? You know, I have to find a different way to package that criticism. I'm the same way even now with dishes. I often forget to wash things till I need them. I was like beaten with regards to the dishes when I was a kid, so I have like an aversion to doing the dishes. Like it's really hard to get me started, and I think I just need to have a better reward system. Like I just need to reward myself throughout the process of doing it in order to make it less like something I'm trying to avoid. Exactly, Dizzy. Yes, my mom picked out Mossy because she was people focused, and she has remained so into her adulthood, and it's definitely a trait I love about her. She wants my approval way more than she wants to smell whatever smell is in the grass, so I have been easily able to train her to walk off leash, and I would never trust my older dog Kai to do that. I can't trust Kai for shit if there's an appealing smell, or possibly to eat something. Yeah, you gotta be careful with them eating stuff that they're not supposed to eat. Because my sister's dog almost died from just like eating something on a walk that she didn't know what it was. Like he just ate something and got violently ill. It was wild. We're so close to getting 69 likes. I don't think at this point in the show it's going to be possible for us to get another $50 in donations to get us all the way to the goal to open the treasure chest. But I do think we might be able to get 69 likes on the video. Maybe. Perhaps. We're so close. We're only 5 away according to my screen. Yeah, still a good dog, just a quirk that means I can't trust him, so I have to be firmer with him. How could you forget to like, Dizzy? Are we even friends? I joke. I jest. There we go. Now we're at 66. We still might not get to 69, but we're so dang close. Oh, dang. Germany just did a very recent trial of UBI. Apparently. I'm just kind of like seeing the headline and summary or whatever. What can we learn from Germany's Universal Basic Income experiment? This was published July 11, 2025. A recent German trial of unconditional basic income found that recipients maintained their employment levels, they improved their well-being, and demonstrated greater autonomy. Like, dude, if somebody just gave me $1,000 a month, unconditional, that would be crazy. Like, if my partner, if all 3 of us adults in here were receiving $1,000 a month, that would like cover most of our living expenses. Yeah, exactly. I'm keeping a list of who's naughty and nice. Nice, because we just got to 69 likes. Appreciate that. See? Told you we could do it. Yeah, I would love to get UBI going. I wonder if that's something that we could subsidize at the state level. Obviously, universal basic income is like supposed to be universal, but I wonder if that's possible to do at the state level. I mean, literally, even if we could just send each adult like $500, or like maybe even each adult and each child like $500 a month. Like, what do we need to do in order to make that happen? Because that's an amount of money that would change things for me. If I had $1,000 a month, I'd go out more, patronize local businesses, and lots more. Yeah. I would buy so much more shit And I would save money, and like I would invest, and like investment is supposed to be good for the economy and they want that, but they apparently don't want me to invest anything. It is amazing how much pushback I get from even leftists against UBI. Yeah, people are dumb. Or, I mean, rather, people are uneducated. People haven't heard that UBI protects people and, like, makes it possible for them to leave their jobs and supports their kids and everything. My sister-in-law raised her half-sister from 8 years old. It can be tough raising a sibling. So proud of my niece. Grew into a great person in spite of her start in life. Yeah. It's wild how common this is. Like, it's more common than I would have guessed. Applying for SSI in the... yeah, I've just given up on the idea that I'm ever gonna, get services. Apply for SSI. I'm married, and I'm not that disabled, so I don't think I can get any assistance like that. Alora said they used a disability lawyer to help apply for stuff. I mean, you have to, right? Like, you have to. So I'm basically just like, I guess I'll work harder. I feel like the US should stop taxing all income under 50K and jack up the taxes on anything over 400K. Yeah, that would be great. It was only the last couple of years that we cumulatively broke 50K, and that was because my partner was making almost $30 an hour, and now he doesn't make that much money, and so yeah, I think we're back under 50K. But we're still gonna probably fucking owe taxes because I am self-employed. I don't think I'm even gonna trifle with this next year. I think next year, if I end up having like a several $1,000 taxes, I'm just gonna do a fucking GoFundMe. Even if I only get like part of it, I'm just gonna fucking do it. I didn't want to do it this year because I had just run a GoFundMe for the move, but I'm just not gonna dig around with it. There's a special legal term for this in Scotland. It's a kinship carer. A kinship carer. Okay. Anyway, I'm getting bored talking about taxes and shit, and my voice hurts. So I'm gonna get out of here, and the plan is I'm gonna try to just honk out a they/them video this week, so expect that by Friday at the latest. I am going to see you guys on Wednesday for stream, and on Thursday I'm gonna be on the Transatlantic Call-In Show, followed by Calling It Now, so that'll be a big long day for me. Sometime soon here, I'm gonna go ahead and take at least a full week off, but I don't know when that's gonna be, so I'll let you know. But thanks everybody for hanging out. I appreciate you helping me get to 69 likes. Thank you to Drea for the very generous donation, and I'll see y'all Wednesday. Okay, bye.